Evening, racers and race fans, and welcome to round number 3 of the 2025-2026 Sunday Funday season as a part of X Racing here at Steeplechase Ski Resort in beautiful Mazeppa, Minnesota. My name is Zach Bailey. I'm joined here in the booth by Dan Bailey as we are getting ready for our next full weekend of racing events here at Steeplechase.
As Zach just mentioned, this is round number 3 of an already proposed 12-round 2025-2026 series as part of the Sunday Funday X Racing Snowcross experience. What are we going to see tonight on round number 3? Let's do a quick run-through of the race order that we will have for the Saturday night portion of this weekend's fun.
We have 17 different races coming at you for this first portion of the evening, and we'll be starting off with race number 1, our 200 stock 9 to 12 class, and our junior girls under 200 cc.
Race number 2 is going to be comprised of 2 different classes, Kids Ditchbanger 8 to 12 and Junior Ditchbanger 13 to 17.
On to race number 3, we have Pro 206, Super 225 Kids, and 120 Open Champ.
In race number 4, just one class, but a strong collection of 4 fast riders in Transition 8 to 10 class.
Race number 5 is going to be another dual race class here, Junior Ditchbanger 10 to 13 and our Leaf Spring competitors.
Race number 6 on our 17 race schedule will be 200 open and 200 stock 4 to 8-year-olds.
Race number 7 is going to be our Transition 8 to 12 combined class.
Race number 8, you're going to want to pay attention to this one. 12 entries in the Ditchbanger 90 to 09 first heat, and race number 9 will be 11 more entries in the second heat for Ditchbanger 90 to 09 class.
Then we'll move into race number 10 for the evening, Junior 10 to 13, Junior 14 to 17, and Junior Open 18 and under for a triple threat class.
Race number 11, 600 Open 18 plus modern sleds.
Race number 12 is going to bring our Ditchbanger 2003 to 2016 class.
Race number 13 will be 800 to 850 cc Open, 18 plus Fearless Fiesta.
Race 14 will be another triple threat as we have our WSAX 440 improved 90 to 03 class, our WSAX 600 improved 90 to 03 class, and our WSAX Open 90 to 03 trail class.
Race number 15 of our 17 race schedule tonight, Ditchbanger Twins.
Second to last race of this first section will be race number 16, where we'll have 4 of our plus 30 snowcross racers and 1 entry in the TSS 440 to 600 invitational class.
And we do have a 17th race in our 17 race schedule. These will be the minis, the micros, the 120 improved stock and the 120 stock. They will be running a slightly different schedule tonight, and we will tell you all about that. As a matter of fact, Zach, plenty of racing for all of the riders tonight. Let's run through for our viewers on the live streaming coverage at MBTVsports.com exactly the order of the progression of the races this evening.
Exactly. So we do things a little bit differently over here as opposed to the traditional heat and feature format you might see at some races. We want to make sure that our racers are able to get as much track time as possible. And so we actually have a 3-section format coming at you guys this evening. We'll be starting off here with our first round of races, which are going to be our heat races. So this is just going to be a chance for our racers to, get a stronger feel of the track and get their lineup order all situated for the main events, which come on afterwards.
And for these qualifying heat races, we will be running the first 16 races in that schedule that we just ran through.
And then we'll move on to our final 2 sections where we will have 2 separate final main event races. We'll have a final number 1 and a final number 2. So all of our racers, with the exception of that race 17, 120 stock and 120 improved stock, I believe it was, those racers are just going to have their 2 finals. But all of our other competitors out there tonight will have 3 separate times where they are on the racetrack this evening.
Slightly different weather conditions than the last time we were here at Steeplechase in beautiful Mazeppa, Minnesota. It was a frigid Saturday night for round number 1. I have to be honest, Zach, my memory is a little cloudy after being thawed out, but I believe the actual temperatures were down around the 10 to 12 below range.
Yes.
And throw the wind chill in there, which was mighty stiff and strong. That wind chill was down below 20 below. It was a very, very cold Saturday night, but I tell you what, these racers and their sleds performed flawlessly. They all had a good time, and despite that cold, round number 1 was a fun Saturday night.
Exactly, which makes me all that more excited to see how tonight's activities will be going. You know, not only is everyone kind of brushed off the cobwebs from last year, having not raced since, March or February perhaps even, but they were able to get out here. Started off really cold a couple weeks ago, so now they're coming back in just about 40 degrees warmer, give or take, than what we were at a few weeks ago, and so this should give our racers a good chance to have some nice racing weather out there this evening.
Yeah, so round number 1 was below 0 temperatures with a stiff wind. Tonight we're at 18 degrees as we prepare for our first race. So as Zach just mentioned, quite a bit warmer. As a matter of fact, speaking of that first race, looks like we are loading the Steeplechase start gate for race number 1. Let's give you a rundown of the competitors who will be on their sleds for this first race tonight.
Starting lineup is going to look a little something like this. As the lone entry in the junior girls under 200cc class, we have the 915 of Faribault, Minnesota's Addison Schrader.
We have 7 entries in the 200 stock 9 to 12 class. Liam Peterson out of Lino Lakes, Minnesota will be riding the Speedworks N2 Motorsports number 23.
Piloting the Mankato Motorsports, Doperalski Agency, Dondlinger Ford Fly Racing number 524 out of Lakeville, Minnesota, it is Michael Rambo.
Joining us from New Ulm, Minnesota will be Jace Wurtzberger on the Uncle Mart's Sled Parts Carbide Podcast 612.
Racing the 702 from Lino Lakes, Minnesota for Speedworks, FXR, and Zebro Construction, it is Blake Zebro.
JC Carlson made the haul from Litchfield, Minnesota with the Cat. JC will be on 708.
Out of Delano, Minnesota, racing the 723 for Midwest Trailer Leasing, Black Label, Amsoil Fly, and Viden Motorsports, it is Camille Jerde.
And rounding out the 7-rider field in the 200 stock 9 to 12-year-old class, Tyler Custodio from Prior Lake, Minnesota on the Custodio Home Group Sled Head Racing 989. So 8 racers in the gate and 2 classes on the track. All 8 of them are in the Steeplechase start gate, and as we prepare to turn them loose for our first race of the evening, we'll let you know that Zach and I will be introducing you to the track through the first couple of races. Here is race number 1. They are coming out of the start gate and headed up to what we call the Hail Mary Highway on the front stretch.
First green flag of the evening, and we've got a nice drag race out front, but early race leader gonna end up being the 524 machine of Michael Rambo leading the charge. He's got company hot on his tail, though, the 989 of Custodio right there in the mix as well, along with 3 other racers. We have the 23 of Liam Peterson sitting in third right now, trying to battle for that second place spot off of Custodio, but now as we make our way up the Black Diamond drop, we're starting to get things single file a little bit.
Here they come back to the front straightaway to complete lap number 1. Racer across the line at the front of the field is the 524 of Michael Rambo. Rambo works his way through the rhythm rollers as he heads into what we'll call turn number 1 at the far southeast end of the X Racing snowcross track.
Now, Rambo did get that hole shot, and he started to pull away ever so slightly, but keep an eye on that 989 of Custodio as he's trying to reel him in a little bit here as we were making our way through the Send It Squeeze. He went from about a 10 sled length gap down to about a 3 or 4 sled length gap, and he's holding on still.
Top 2 racers are relatively close nose to tail. We have a 3rd place racer in the mix, currently running all alone, and then we have a 2 racer battle for 4th and 5th between the 612 of Jace Wurtzberger and the 708 of JC Carlson.
White flag is out, and the battle is raging up front. Half a lap to decide our first heat race winner of the night. Michael Rambo's got it. Tyler Custodio wants it. We're making our way up that black diamond drop into the west end high banks, and one straightaway separates our first heat race winner of the evening. Who's it gonna be?
They come up the climb, headed towards the finish line. Checkered flag is out, and that's the order in which they will cross the line. The 5:24 of Michael Rambo picking up the W in heat race number 1, followed across the line, unofficially, of course, by the 9:89 of Tyler Custodio. Those will be your top 2 to wrap up race number 1 in the 200 stock 9 to 12-year-old class, with the junior girls under 200 represented by Addison Schrader in the 9:15. Here is race number 2 already lined up in the Steeplechase start gate. Here's your starting lineup for this 6-racer field.
In the kids ditchbanger 8 to 12 class, we have 3 entries today. The 27 of Cassie Scott out of Trago, Wisconsin. Millville, Minnesota's Amelia Tesmer on the 33, and the 5:55 of Landon Podine out of Stewartville, Minnesota.
3 additional racers competing in the junior ditchbanger 13 to 17-year-old class. Callan Weinbush from Mazeppa, Minnesota on the 15. One of the hometown heroes going to try and run strong tonight. Nora Tesmer from Millville will be atop the 41. And Lyric Knighton from Trago, Wisconsin on the Timber Ford of Hayward Timber Marine 591. So 6 racers. Zach, 2 classes represented. Both of them ditchbanger in name. One the kids ditchbanger 8 to 12 and one the junior ditchbanger 13 to 17.
Exactly. So for both of these classes, these are going to be sleds that are years 2009 or older. The main difference between the sleds themselves, other than the ages of the racers on them, are that kids ditchbanger 8 to 12 class, those are going to be sleds up to 400 cc's, whereas the junior ditchbanger 13 to 17 class, those are going to be up to 600 cc's.
Quite a different sound from the sleds that are on the track right now, as we currently have the 591 of Lyric Knighton taking the lead and heading down into the Send It Squeeze. That's a portion of the Steeplechase ski hill as one rider goes up and over the banking as they came to a split lane coming up and out of the Send It Squeeze. Now that's an interesting point of this track, Zach. It tightens up quite a bit from about 50 to 75 feet wide. The Send It Squeeze maybe only 20 feet wide.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's exactly why we're calling it that, because it is squeezing those competitors down, and we just got to see firsthand how truly squeezed in they're going to be, have nowhere to go, with one of our racers going up and over on the front straightaway here.
That was a hard landing through the rollers at the end of the Hail Mary Highway. You can see that the rider is trying to get up under their own power. Track safety worker there immediately to attend to the rider. We've also have a track worker flagging the oncoming competitors that there is an obstruction in the form of a sled sitting right there in the racing lane.
Let's take a look at this instant replay, see what happened here. We cross the start-finish line, make our way through the Hail Mary Highway, gets all up and over sideways, gets a little cross-rutted there in the ski sleds, just had nowhere to go but over.
Yeah, that's what oftentimes is referred to as a seat bump. The front of the sled went over the roller. The rear of the sled then caught the top of the roller, propelling that upwards, hitting the rider literally in the seat, in their bottom side, and then turning that rider loose off to the right side as the sled tumbled side over side at the end of the front straightaway. But thankfully, that rider up under their own condition, under their own power, and able to walk away from the scene of the get-off.
Taking a look back at the track here, we have a few of our racers still going at it as we make our way through the black diamond drop. White flag is out, checkered flag is about to fly though. For our next heat race winner for heat race number 2, I believe that was the 591 of Lyric Knighton, taking the win in the junior ditchbanger 13 to 17 class.
Rest of the field going to make their way across the line, including the 27 of Cassie Scott. Cassie right behind the overall race leader as the field crosses the line to take the checkered flag. So again, a quick introduction to the racing circuit here at the top of Steeplechase Ski Resort. It's a modified oval. We've seen the long straightaway. They get into what we'll call turn number 1. And then they begin actually a downward drop. We call it the fall away field that heads down to that Send It Squeeze. That's the east end of the track. We'll introduce you to the west end of the track shortly, but now we get ready for race number 3.
We have 3 separate classes hitting the track here. Looks like only 2 of our competitors are showing up. I see we have the 409 of Hayes Carlson racing out of Litchfield, Minnesota in the Super 225 kids class. Hayes Carlson is supposed to be joined by the 612 of Jace Wurzberger out of New Ulm, Minnesota.
In the Pro 206 class, we'd be looking for Bowden Nelson from Foley, Minnesota, riding the Schema Exteriors Jaeger Construction 25B.
And in the 120 Open Champ class, it's the 77 of Mick Malang racing out of Rogers, Minnesota.
I think that 120 Open Champ class is being held. Perhaps we will see. We've got 2 of the expected 4 racers in the start gate. Again, this is race number 3 in our 17 race schedule. For those of you in attendance here at Steeplechase Ski Resort, race number 4 will be transition 8 to 10. Those racers should be over in staging. Race number 5 will be junior ditchbanger 10 to 13. And Leaf Spring, those racers should be over in staging. And race number 6, 200 open and 200 stock 4 to 8. Those racers should also be over in staging. So we're going to hold this, this third race before we turn them loose, and it gives us an opportunity to continue our introduction to the track. We talked about the Send It Squeeze, which is a very tight corner at the northeast end of this modified oval. Then they have a split lane choice. The inside or the downward slope lane has a bit of a roller in it. The outside lane is flat, allows them to pick up a little speed. Then they crest right underneath the ski lift, and they begin the Black Diamond drop that you heard Zach mention earlier. Pick up a lot of speed that brings them into the West End High Banks, and that completes a lap here at the Steeplechase Ski Resort Snowcross Oval.
Exactly, and we wouldn't be able to be here at Steeplechase Ski Resort if it weren't thanks to a few of our premier sponsors here for the 2025-2026 Sunday Funday season. Want to give a huge shout out to our friends at the Hunter Hool Memorial Foundation, DLO Excavating LLC, CNA Pro Skis, CF Moto, Husqvarna, Aeroplex Corporation, Ruck Excavating, Studboy Traction, and Fox Shocks. If it weren't for them, we wouldn't be able to bring you some great racing action here for a full weekend of events and activities for rounds 3 and 4 of the 2025-2026 Sunday Funday season.
For those of you watching at home via the live streaming coverage on MBTV Sports, Zach, this is one of the things that MBTV Sports does so well. We would love for you to get involved. Let us know that you're watching. Let us know who you're cheering for tonight.
Exactly. Feel free to comment. For those of you watching on the Facebook page, the YouTube channel, on the MBTVsports.com website, send some comments our way. We're always happy to hear where people are watching these races from. And for those of you in the grandstands here, that is a perfect reminder. We are live streaming all of this weekend's events for free on MBTVsports.com through the affiliated YouTube and Facebook pages. So if you have any friends or family who weren't able to make it out here and watch you race this weekend, heck, even if you have some enemies you want to show off to, feel free to send them those links so they can be a part of the action from the comfort of their warm houses.
Still waiting to fill out the start gate for race number 3, Pro 206, Super 225 Kids, and 120 Open Champ. Looks like we're going to turn them loose, so it's a 2-rider shootout. And again, the classes on the track right now, Zach: Super 225 Kid, 120 Open Champ, and Pro 206.
And it looks like we actually only have Super 225 Kids competitors out there right now. The 612 of Jace Wurzberger taking the whole shot after that long front straightaway. The 409 of Hayes Carlson following behind in second in this Super 225 Kids class.
Zach, if folks at home are wondering about the differences between each class, this Super 225 Kids class gives us a couple of riders who are either in the single digits, as is Hayes Carlson, giving us a 7-year-old perspective behind the handlebars, or the lower double digits with Jace Wurzberger, who is 10 years young. There you see the 612 of Jace making his way around the Send It Squeeze at the northeast corner of the Steeplechase Oval.
Jace Wurzberger, definitely a face to keep an eye on here, as he week in and week out has a pretty solid showing throughout the classes he's racing, always finishing up in the top 2-3 positions there, getting a few feature race wins as well, so definitely an eye to keep on there. Hayes Carlson also having a great season as well, so he puts another lap in the books there on the 409 machine.
So these racers learning the track just as the rest of the grown-ups are learning the track. Obviously, they made their way through a practice session before we got to green flag action tonight. Following this evening's riders meeting, that practice session was their first time on the track this evening for round number 3. Rounds 1 and 2 were December 13th and 14th. Rounds 3 and 4 today and tomorrow. Rounds 5 and 6 will be back here at Steeplechase Ski Resort on January 17th and 18th. And rounds 7 and 8 will be February 21st and 22nd.
As the white flag flies for race number 3, a quick reminder to some of our racers here at the track. Race 4, transition 8 to 10-year-olds. Race 5, Junior Ditchbanger 10 to 13 and Leaf Spring, as well as race 6, 200 open, 200 stock 4 to 8, and race 7, transition 8 to 12 combined should all be in the staging area. Race 8 and 9, Ditchbanger 90 to 09 heats 1 and 2 should all be making your way up to staging if you haven't already.
Checkered flag is out. Jace Wurzberger going to pick up the heat race W in the Super 225 kids class atop the 612 machine. Hayes Carlson right behind on the 409, and we get ready for race number 4. Here's your 4-rider lineup for transition 8 to 10-year-olds.
On the 25K out of Foley, Minnesota, it is Cashton Nelson racing for Jaeger Construction, the Osseo Nickel Barn, and Nick's Electric, alongside Mankato Motorsports, Rambo Real Estate, Crew Chief Brady Phillips, Lakeville, number 188 of Michael Rambo.
Atop the 627 out of Racine, Minnesota, we'll find Ellis Middlestad on the JM Truck and Equipment X-Con Freeride entry, and Tyler Custodio from Prior Lake back for more fun on the Custodio Home Group Sledhead Racing 989. 4 racers in the transition 8 to 12-year-old class. Quick correction on what I mentioned earlier, and I apologize. Rounds 7 and 8 have been recently added to the Sunday Funday schedule. That'll be February 6th and 7th in Brainerd. Then we will have rounds 9 and 10 on February 21st and 22nd. Green is underway. A green flag, rather, is out, and the race is underway. There you see the 4 racers all battling for the top spot as they make their way on the steeplechase track.
See the 989 of Custodio currently sitting there in second, right behind him. The 627 of Middlestat in third. Out front, though, your early race leader putting the first lap in the books is going to be the 25K of Cashton Nelson. But don't look now. Custodio making a move to the outside. Cuts on down. New race leader, ladies and gentlemen. Nelson is going to battle back, though, as they make it through the Send It Squeeze. That's going to narrow things down enough for Custodio to take sole possession. But Nelson going to take that outside line, trying to get a nice jump, but Custodio has slowly but surely started to pull away from the field.
That was a power move into turn number 1 at the end of the straightaway, as the 989 of Custodio was able to make an outside run with the 25K of Nelson having to work through those rollers getting into the first turn. Now we've got another challenge for second.
Just like that, the 627 of Middlestad saw what Custodio did, tried to make the similar move, look to the outside of that turn number 1, trying to get around the 25K of Nelson. Nelson was able to hold on, though, for second, but he's definitely got company hot behind him, less than a sled length behind him. Our top 3 racers all within just a few sled lengths of each other as the white flag flies. One more lap to go.
That's the 188 of Michael Rambo trying to find a way up into the top 2. There's another challenge in turn number 1, down the fall-away field and headed towards the Send It Squeeze. We have got a change for second and third. Your race leader continues to be the 989 of Tyler Custodio, up to second now. Unofficially is the 188 of Rambo, and Rambo's given a charge. Now looking to the inside as they come to the line.
Close racing, but it is going to be Custodio with the unofficial heat race win. Rambo with a nice charge from 4th up to 2nd. Going to hold on to that position. Nelson going to round out your top 3 for race number 4.
Race number 5 already in the Steeplechase start gate. Junior Ditchbanger 10 to 13-year-old class made up of 3 competitors. Cassie Scott from Trago, Wisconsin on the 27. Brett Lee Kruzmark from Pine Island, Minnesota on the 72. And Landon Podine from Stewartville, Minnesota on the 555.
In the Leaf Spring class, 2 racers out of Hudson, Wisconsin. We have the 159 of Jack Mackey and Curtis Turner on the the 284, and racing the Timber Ford of Hayward, Timber Marine Services, Amsoil, Shuring Speed Sports, Apex Roofing, number 591 of Trago, Wisconsin's Lyric Knighton.
Bit of a border battle here between these 6 racers, 2 Minnesotans, 4 Wisconsinians. We will see who will get to the checkered flag first as they are about ready to bring the revs up and rocking away from the line. Here they come at you onto the Hail Mary Highway across the start-finish line. We've got them battling for the lead side by side.
One of our racers bobbling a bit, going a little high on the fall-away field left-hand corner, but it's going to work for him as he's able to make his way up to the front spot and just barely clinch that hole shot. Pulling away from the rest of the field, we have the 284 of Curtis Turner sitting in second in that Leaf Spring class. He's got some company hot on his tail as well. I believe that's the 159 of Mackey in third, but it's the 72 of Brettley Crustmark out front and pulling away, leading in the junior ditchbanger 10-13 class.
Well, you can see that first roller there at the end of the front straightaway is creating fits for some of these competitors, jars them a little bit, maybe catches them a little off guard as they carry that speed down the front straightaway and into those rollers right before the entry to turn number 1.
Now, another thing that's always interesting about this, so we have 2 classes out on the track right now. Leading the charge overall, it's that 72 of Brettley Crustmark in the junior ditchbanger 10-13 class. Currently sitting in second place overall, but leading the Leaf Spring class is the 284 of Curtis Turner. And then we have a nice little separation there. So Crustmark out front all alone in the ditchbanger class. And then we have 3 Leaf Springs, but right as I say it, our race leader having some issues stalling on the Black Diamond drop there, which gives the 284 of Curtis Turner a chance to make his way around, your new overall race leader. Taking the white flag, one more lap to go.
Right behind him, 3 racers relatively tight. Second appears to be held all alone, but then we have 2 riders nose to tail. Again, the 284 of Curtis Turner, your new race leader by default, and the 72 machine off track after the Send It squeeze. More troubles for Brettley Crustmark.
He was able to start it back up enough to hold on to second, but through the Send It squeeze is going to have some more problems, which out front leaves your race leader to be the 284 of Curtis Turner, taking the heat race win today in the Leaf Spring class.
So we mentioned that the Send It squeeze is a tight, narrow portion of the racetrack. One thing we didn't mention is that coming out of turn number 1 and headed towards the Send It squeeze, what we've called the fall-away field, is a relatively steep downward grade to the racetrack. So they're picking up a lot of maybe unexpected speed before they get into that tightening funnel of the Send It squeeze, and that's why we've already seen a couple of sleds go over the banking there on the outside of that turn.
Nice big chunk for race number 6. We have a lone racer in the 200 open class, the 612 of Jace Wurzberger, but in the 200 stock 4-8 class, we have the 99 of Rylan Betterly out of Cook, Minnesota, alongside Stewartville, Minnesota's Brooks Podine on the 105.
On top, the 119 is Lake City, Minnesota's Sawyer Ferguson, Delano, Minnesota's Cade Vadine on the 133.
On the 168 out of Lake City, Minnesota, it's Henry Rolfe alongside Leighton Henkes on the 219 from Mayer, Minnesota.
Sutton Henkes, obviously also from Mayer on the 304. Hayes Carlson from Litchfield riding the 409.
And rounding out your 10-rider field in the 200 stock 4-8 class, we have the 410 of Claremont, Minnesota's Owen Lance, and Calvin Schrader piloting the 960 machine out of Faribault, Minnesota.
So 10 racers in that 200 stock 4 to 8-year-old class. They are away. They will come up the straightaway and cross the start-finish line. Looks like we may be calling for a restart as the red flags are flying. Yeah, I think we're good. Think we're going to need a restart here. Try to listen into the track officials, see what the call is here. So again, red flag is out. We will re-rack them, restack them, and give them another shot at the start. I want to make sure that we've got all of our racers on the start line. So give us a moment to get our competitors back into the Steeplechase start gate as we continue our way through the qualifying heat races of round number 3 here at Steeplechase Ski Resort in Mazeppa, Minnesota. Saw a lot of activity on the ski slopes earlier today. There in the background, for those of you watching the live stream, you can see the chairlift in action. Beautiful facility coming back to life 5 or 6 years ago. Nice to see what they have done with the facility. A lot of activity over on the tubing and snowboarding hill today. A nice collection of snow bunnies and snow fanatics over there having a good time. When I say over there, that's off to the east end of the Steeplechase Ski Resort facility. Those of you who are enjoying the action live and in person here in the snow and the cool temperatures, don't forget to sneak on over to the chalet and grab yourself a treat, a snack to eat, or something to drink. The Steeplechase concession area is fully stocked and ready to keep you warm. Those of you enjoying the live stream on MBTVsports.com, you'll have to fend for yourself. Head on out to the kitchen and whip up a snack for a Saturday evening fun. Boy, we sure do appreciate you following us online at MBTVsports.com. Do our darndest to bring you all sorts of live coverage and even begin the process of introducing a second live stream. So we are about ready to double the fun. Compliments of MBTV Sports live streaming coverage. That will give us the opportunity to potentially cover multiple events that are scheduled on the same date. But tonight we're focusing 100% on Sunday Funday snowcross action as part of the X Racing 2025-2026 schedule. Again, rounds 1 and 2 were a couple of weeks ago, December 13th and 14th. This is rounds 3 and 4. Today and tomorrow, rounds 5 and 6 will be January 17th and 18th, right back here at Steeplechase Ski Resort in Mazeppa, Minnesota.
About to send our racers here with their second green flag. Flagman's going to give them the sign, make sure everyone is good to go.
All 11.
And we are racing.
All 11 sleds in the line and in the gate. And once again, we will turn them loose. The 409 of Hayes Carlson going to be the first into turn number 1, followed by a side-by-side elbow-to-elbow battle for second and third.
Keep an eye on the right side, though. The 612 of Jace Wurzberger with a great line. That outside line seems to be working pretty well for these racers. He was able to go from midfield all the way up to second. Now battling with the 409 of Hayes Carlson on the right, trying to see if he might be able to make a move, but it is still Carlson and Wurzberger 1 and 2.
Into the West End High Banks are your top two. They're trying to put a little separation between themselves and that third place sled. Side-by-side challenge for the lead at the line. Still the 409 of Hayes Carlson, the 612 giving chase.
Wurzberger tried that crossover maneuver. It started to work for him. Looked down to the inside this time, and it did not do what he was wanting. The 168 of Henry Rolfe sitting in third, able to gain quite a bit of ground on him as our top three racers have slowly but surely pulled away from the rest of the field. We have a nice little two-rider battle for fourth and fifth raging on.
Yellow flag scenario at the end of the front straightaway, as it appears that maybe we've had a sled stall here. That Ski-Doo sits idle right at the entry to the first turn. Not sure what the mechanical issue is, but here come our leaders, and they're going to have to work their way around a competitor who goes a lap down to the top two. The 409 and the 612 still running 1-2.
Carlson able to get a little bit of a drive coming down through the fall away field. Put about 4 or 5 sled lengths in between him and the 612 of Wurzberger. Carlson has had his company right behind him, but as we come up the Black Diamond drop through the West End High Banks, we'll see if Wurzberger is able to put one final charge onto Carlson.
Up to the line. White flag is out. One more lap to go for this two-rider battle for the lead. They work to the inside now of the yellow flag situation.
Going to come almost to a complete stop with that yellow flag waving there. But it is still Carlson and Wurzberger out front, as now they are working through quite a bit of lap traffic. We'll see how this is going to affect the race leaders out front.
Heavy traffic as they work their way underneath the ski lift and head towards the Black Diamond drop. This is another descending portion of the race surface. The 409 of Hayes Carlson, still your race leader, followed by the 612 of Jace Wurzberger. They come out of the West End High Bank turns back onto the front straightaway.
Checkered flag is going to fly there in a late race pass for the 612 of Jace Wurtzberger, going to take the heat race win in the 200 open class. The 409 of Hayes Carlson, though going to have to settle for a second place overall, is going to take the heat race win in the 200 stock 4-8 class.
Race number 7 already in the gate. We'll give you the starting lineup, then a little bit of information about yellow flag conditions. But in the transition 8-12 combined class, we have Cashton Nelson from Foley, Minnesota on the Schema Exteriors 25K.
On the 101 out of Prior Lake, Minnesota, Ray's Sport and Cycle Rewire Rock Speed Effects Jovi Heineme.
Michael Rambo from Lakeville, Minnesota is riding the Mankato Motorsports Doperalski 188.
The 627 of Racine, Minnesota's Ellis Middlestat, racing for JM Truck and Equipment LLC and XCon Freeride.
Joining us from Litchfield, Minnesota is JC Carlson on the 708.
And rounding out your 6-rider field out of Elko, Minnesota, it's the 973 of Walter Strazy.
One of the things that the race director talks to the competitors about during their riders' meeting is safety concerns. Want to make sure that the riders are obviously having fun, but also having fun in a safe manner. So one of the things that Joe often spends a lot of time on is the flags and what these racers and riders are supposed to do when they get into a differing flag situation rather than just the green-white checker. So in a yellow flag conditions, they want those racers treads on the ground, skis on the ground, and not changing positions. So technically no passing for position supposed to take place during yellow flag conditions.
Exactly. As the green flag flies for race number 7, though, we have a nice little pack going down single file through the front straightaway as our racers are making their way through the fall away field into the Send It Squeeze. They're going to come up through the split lane section, all one by one.
First time we've seen the speed cam there on the lower back straightaway, giving you a sense of what it's like when those racers come around that right-hand turn onto the back straightaway.
The 25K of Cashton Nelson currently sitting in second, going to put his first full lap in the book there. So he's trying to reel in our leader right now, but Nelson's got company behind him. One competitor trying to get in the mix. I believe that might be the 188 of Michael Rambo sitting in third, the 708 of Carlson sitting in fourth right now. That's our closest battle on the field, as the battle for second, third, and fourth spaced out a little bit. The 188 of Rambo putting another lap in the books.
The 188 machine of Michael Rambo, your current race leader, and stretching that separation back to second. It's still the 25K of Cashton Nelson holding on to the number 2 spot for now. Racers in this transition 8 to 12-year-old combined class, ranging in age, as the name would imply, from 8 up to 12 years of age.
Yes, my apologies. It's the 627 of Middlestat sitting in third place right now. As Rambo starts to make his way up on the rear end of the field, white flag is flying. One more lap to go for Michael Rambo.
That 188 machine is going to take the right lane in that split lane portion coming up and out of the Send It Squeeze, and that right lane has a roller as an obstacle, a jump that they have to navigate around. If they take the left lane in that split lane portion, it's smooth, but of course it's a little bit longer around. Right down to the checkered flag will be the 188 of Michael Rambo picking up the W in the transition 8 to 12 combined class.
Race number 8 about to hit the track. Ditchbanger 90 to 09 Heat 1. Race number 9, Heat 2 of the Ditchbanger 90 to 09 class, as well as race number 10, Junior 10 to 13, Junior 14 to 17, and Junior Open 18 and under, and race 11, 600 Open 18 plus and modern should all be in the staging area. Race 12, Ditchbanger 03 to 16, and race 13, 800cc to 850cc Open 18 plus should be making their way up to the staging area.
12 racer lineup for heat race number 1 in the Ditchbanger 90 to 09 class includes Nate Clemens from Hastings, Minnesota. Minnesota on the 10, Scott Kempe from Bloomer, Wisconsin on the 24, and Zane Russell from Livermore, Iowa on the 44.
Racing the 84 out of Mondovi, Wisconsin, it's Joshua Berg, Nathan Crawford on the 104, Andrew Morrissey on the 339.
Isanti, Minnesota's Drew Johnson sits atop the 351 with Nicholas Raposa from Fargo, North Dakota, making the haul southeast to be with us this weekend on the 376. And Mason Dolly, a.k.a. Cardi from Winstead, Minnesota, will be on the 423.
The 580 of Brian Witham, 719 of Justin Middlestad, and the 901 of Jack Robinkamp round out your field as the green flag flies. An early race leader going to be, believe that may have said 719 of Middlestad, but we've got some bumping and banging on the front straightaway. One rider going up and over.
Looks like he's not going to be able to get that sled refired, but you can see the intensity has been raised by our Ditchbanger 90-09 racers as they get out onto the track. Heavy traffic from 4th on back, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 sleds all battling for 3rd, 4th on back.
Here we're going to see that yellow flag condition again right at the end of the Hail Mary Highway as our racers are having to go down to the inside or over to the outside of that downed competitor that we have sitting there.
Top 2 racers battling side by side, 3rd place sled right behind them. So the top 3 still in a battle for position at the front of the field. The 719 does continue to set the pace. That is Justin Middlestad out front.
Right behind him, that looks like it is the 901 of Roggenkamp holding on for second. He's following Middlestad's line, seeing what he might be able to do.
Got another rider up and over. Excuse me for interrupting, Zach, but that 3rd place sled came out of the left-hander from the Send It Squeeze, jumped the berm, and then rolled down the banking a bit. Looks like the rider is okay. We're hearing from track officials that the rider is okay.
That tight battle for 4th on back has slowly but surely dissipated slightly, but we do still have some company as now the 901 of Roggenkamp going off the track. That Send It Squeeze left-hand corner proving to be quite difficult for our racers this evening.
Yeah, it's a Saturday night funnel that is throwing a kink into the fun of a lot of the racers here tonight. I mentioned it earlier that they carry a lot of speed down the fall-away field straightaway, which separates that Send It Squeeze from the first turn. And the checkered flag is out to wrap up heat race number 1 unofficially. Looks like the 719 of Justin Middlestad is going to hold on for the win of heat number 1 of the Ditchbanger 90-09 class. Here is a quick replay for those of you watching online. Watch right at the tail end of the pack here. There's a classic seat bump. Rider up and over the front.
Similar to what we saw earlier. So it looks like the 2 difficult portions for our racers tonight are going to be the end of the Hail Mary Highway. Through those rhythm sections, we've got a few kickers going in there, and then that left-hand corner through the Send It Squeeze also proving to be difficult. For heat number 2 of the Ditchbanger 90-09 class, we have the 3 of Joshua Podine, 7 of Jory Curtis, the 122 of Shane Halverson, and the 126 of William Marble.
On the 217 is Parker Helmbrecht. On the 329, Teddy Ballard, Sam Mitch riding the 385, and Jackson Kimmich on the 389.
Peyton Helmbrecht piloting the 425. We have the 726 of Lucas Holicky, and the 731 of Jager Cordes are going to round out your 11 sled field for our second half of the Ditchbanger 90-09 class.
Yep, this is heat race number 2 for that Ditchbanger 90-09 class. The first heat race had a lot of excitement as we had that one sled that we're still trying to clear out of the rollers there at the end of the Hail Mary Highway. Seat bump tossed the rider off the back of that sled. And then we had 2 riders blow the berm on the outside of the left-hander in the northeast corner of this modified oval at Steeplechase Ski Resort. Zach Bailey again, as you mentioned, the rhythm section, those rhythm rollers at the end of the Hail Mary Highway, and that Send It Squeeze appear to be the 2 toughest spots on the track this evening, or at least the 2 spots that are causing the most difficulty for the racers.
Exactly. So those are definitely going to be portions of the track to keep an eye on tonight, as not only are those going to bring the most excitement, if you will, but also the areas to show where we might be able to see some changes in position. If anyone's going through those those areas of the track not fully prepared for it, we might see some easy battles for position there as well.
This is race number 9. In staging should be race 10, junior 10 to 13, junior 14 to 17, junior open 18 and under. Race 11, 600 open 18 plus modern should be in staging. And race number 12, ditchbanger 03 to 16 in staging, please, so that we can continue the quick running of our heat races.
Now that we have our downed sled off of the track, our racers are getting all set and ready to go for our next green flag of the evening, as we're officially at the halfway point of this first session. Reminder for how tonight's activities are going to go. We're going to start off with a full round of heat race action here, and then we'll run it back 2 more times. After that, we'll do our first round of finals after a brief intermission. Then we'll do a second brief intermission before we get into our second round of finals, with all of our racers, with the exception of our final race of the day, being out on the track 3 separate times tonight.
All 11 sleds in the Steeplechase start gate. All the riders on their seats. A little discussion from track workers as they try to figure out whether or not they might bring the groomer out to give a little attention to the track surface. So bear with us here a moment. We will find out if the track personnel feel like they want to give a little TLC to the racing surface before we get into the second heat of the ditchbanger 90 to 09 class.
And in the meantime, might as well take this time that we have to thank a few more of our sponsors here for the 2025-2026 season. We have Woody's Traction, Podine's Power Equipment, Henko Utilities, Moto Pros, and Cannon Power Sports along for the ride. I want to thank them all for coming out. Now, the same way that they are supporting us through the 2025-2026 season, make sure you are giving them your love. If you see them out in the community, give them a shout out. Thank them for joining us for the 2025-2026 Sunday Funday season.
So now we see, those of you watching online, you can see the cause of this slight delay as the 423 of Mason Dolly blew the berm on the outside of the Send It Squeeze. So it's not that we were listening in on the track workers. They were talking about the roller. We were wondering if they wanted to work on the track, but actually they're having some difficulty getting the 423 out of the trees on the outside of the Send It Squeeze. So bear with us here a moment, and once we are able to safely clear that turn, we will go back to green flag conditions. But it gives us another opportunity
to take a quick moment and send things over to a word from our sponsors.
Freight is the backbone of the country, and as long as people need goods, they're going to need somebody to get it to them. My name is Matt Bohl with QualityFreightRate.com, powered by T-Force Worldwide. We provide LTL, truckload, and expedited freight services across this country. If your freight weighs over 120 pounds going over 120 miles, that's where my shipping rates kick in. We help companies ship easier for less. With our system, our customers are able to quote and book shipments with ease 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you're having trouble with damages, lost freight, claims of any sort, we can help you with our experience, solve the problem, tell you why it's happening and what you should do to prevent it in the future. Me and my team have been together for over 20 years. We know this industry. We can help all size business, big or small. We love them all, but we have a special spot for small business. Small businesses are pillars in the community. Low rates are critical for a small business because the margins are generally pretty small. They need to have competitive rates. They can't be getting gouged or they lose the sale. Freight is simple. People make it difficult. We work as consultants in the industry, so it doesn't matter what your problem is, we'll solve it. We educate the customers, we solve problems, and we lower their shipping rates. And that's what I've been doing for 20 plus years.
At AMRAMP Accessibility, our goal is to help people, and that means providing them with the best quality product and service possible. Built with powder-coated steel, our ramps are stronger and longer lasting than those built with wood or aluminum. Installed in a matter of days to ensure your safety as quickly as possible, our teams are here for you.
I can get out.
Yeah, much easier. Better, a lot better. Yes, thanks.
I don't even have the words to explain how much easier it is. We're just so thankful for it, so thank you. Thank you very much.
Find your forward with AmRamp accessibility today. Learn more at amramp.com.
My name is John O'Connor. I'm a snowboarder for life and a business owner in Windham, New York. We run a restaurant and inn here. This is our backyard. Having a backyard park is really special because being able to snowboard at home and not have to get in the car, go to a resort, wait in a line, is your own creative space to do whatever you want, however you want. You're in your element. You're right at home, and it's a really good feeling when you can tune into the space around you with you and your friends and just make something special of it. The Tow Pro has helped my vision come to life with where I would like to take the backyard setup, and without it, it wouldn't be the same. It's the most easy to use, compact, portable, reliable rope tow that you can buy. It's the best thing that I own as far as what gives me happiness in life. Without it, it's not the same when you're hiking. To be able to keep riding and feel like you're snowboarding, that's what it's all about. And the Tow Pro has made that happen.
Welcome back, racers and race fans. We're still working on getting the 423 of Mason Dolly out, but you can see there through the trees his sled is getting up and over. We are almost set and ready to go back to green flag racing conditions.
There, they've got that sled up and out of the snow. Not only did it blow the berm on the outside of that left-hand turn, but it also got onto the backside of the banking there and actually even into the trees a little bit there. We call it the Send It Squeeze because that's actually one of the ski slopes here at Steeplechase Ski Resort. They call it the Send It Slope. But we have taken it over for Sunday Funday tonight and tomorrow morning. That's right, tomorrow morning we'll be back for round number 4 of this multi-round Sunday Funday 2025-2026 schedule.
Exactly. We have a lot of great racing action coming at you this year, as now Mason Dolly's officially made his way back onto the track. Sled is all set and ready to go. We have announced a few new races coming at you this year as well. We initially were only going to be at Steeplechase, but we have recently added on 4 races, 2 weekends of racing at Brainerd International Raceway in Brainerd, Minnesota. So Friday, February 6th and Saturday, February 7th, we'll be out there for rounds 7 and 8 of the season. And then for our final 2 rounds of the racing season, we'll be back at Brainerd Saturday and Sunday, February 28th and March 1st. But right now, we're moving on to race number 9, the second half of our Ditchbanger 90 to 09 racing portion.
We gave you the starting lineup. We will be keeping our eyes on these racers. 10 of the 11 out of Minnesota, 9 of the 11 out of Minnesota, 2 Wisconsinians in this second heat for the Ditchbanger 90 to 09 class.
Looks like we are just making sure everything is all set and ready to go. A couple racers that you might want to keep your eyes on here. Jager Cordes on the 731 was a feature race winner last week, so you'll definitely want to keep an eye on him in this class.
A couple of weeks ago was rounds 1 and 2, December 13th and 14th. Cordes from Duluth riding the Hanko Utilities Lindsey Keene State Farm 731 sled.
Got a lot of new faces out here as well, so definitely one of our larger classes that we have here in the Sunday Funday race series. consistently having to split things up into 2 different heats because we have just so many racers racing in this class, which is great to see.
Yeah, I was talking with Zane Russell's dad earlier this evening before the riders' meeting. Said he was hanging out down in Iowa, caught wind of this event and said, hey, let's give it a shot. So brought Zane up. We saw Zane out on the track earlier. Right now it's heat number 2. Revs are coming up, and away they go. Race number 9 is underway. Second heat for the ditchbangers, 90 to 09 class.
And out front early, I told you to keep an eye on him, but it is the 726 of Holicky and the 731 of Cordis making their way out front as we have yet another racer going down on that front straightaway through the Hail Mary Highway. Still proving to be a little difficult for our racers there.
Yeah, that Arctic Cat tossing its rider like nothing. Here's your race leader coming down to the line to complete another lap. We have 3 racers battling for 3rd, 4th, and 5th as the top 2 try to pull away and distance themselves from that 3-rider battle in the top 5.
There we have a nice 6-rider battle for position in the middle of the field. We have a nice little 5-rider battle for position up at the front of the pack as well.
It's fun. They call it the ditchbanger class, but they are hauling some good times around this speedway. Your race leader continues to pull away from the competition. It is the 731 of Jaeger Cordis continuing to add space between his skidoo and the competition.
The 726 of Holicky on the Arctic Cat holding on strong for second, but he has got some close quarters company right behind him as well.
Yeah, it started out as a 2-rider battle at the front of the field, but the 731 of Cordis has pulled away, so now it's a multi-rider battle for second on back as Cordis makes his way towards that split lane portion of the track, making the climb up towards the lower straightaway.
Getting some nice air there, clearing a little double on the back straightaway as he makes his way up through the west end high banks and onto the front stretch. Checkered flag is gonna fly for the 731 of Jaeger Cordis. Gonna take the win today. The 726 of Lucas Holicky gonna finish in an unofficial second place in the heat number 2 of our Ditchbanger 90 to 09 class.
Rest of the field coming across the line as we take a quick look at a replay. Whoa, almost had a rider get into the bales there at the finish line.
That was race number 9. Race 10 is going to be up next. We have a triple threat, as there we can see, believe that is the 389 machine of Jackson Kmitch out of St. Cloud, Minnesota. Was having that hard get off there, trying to send it off of the Hail Mary Highway.
That was a pretty rough barrel roll down the front straightaway there, but nice to see him back up under his own power, collecting some of the debris from that sled. Hopefully he'll be able to rejoin us a little bit later on tonight for the 2 main events. Here's your starting lineup for race number 10 in the junior 10 to 13-year-old class. 4 entries, including Zumbrota, Minnesota's Levi Rosted on the 052 and Pine Island, Minnesota's Bentley Cruzmark on the 109.
We also have the 591 of Lyric Knighton out of Trago, Wisconsin, and Elko, Minnesota's 973 of Wyatt Strazy.
Check out the speed cam shot of that barrel roll on the front straightaway. Those of you at home can see that machine rolling across the finish line. In the junior 14 to 17 class, we have Julia Olson on the 521.
And in the junior open 18 and under class, out of New Prague, Minnesota, it's the 252 of Carter Bastier. So we have a total of 6 racers coming at you for 3 different classes. Now this is going to be one of those interesting situations where though we will have 1 overall race winner, we're actually going to have 3 heat race winners at the end of this race.
Starts with a 3-wide battle for the lead down into the first turn. The 591 of Lyric Knighton on the inside. Still on the inside as they make their way through the send-it squeeze. Now they funnel it down to single file, nose-to-tail battle, actually top 4 in the shootout.
Some nice close racing up there at the front. The 252 of Carter Bastier holding on to the lead in the Junior Open 18 and under class.
The 252 machine of Bastier second in the overall running order. The 591 of Lyric Knighton Out front, Lyric racing in the junior 10 to 13-year-old class.
Knighton starting to pull away from the competition there. Knighton leading that junior 10 to 13 class. Right behind him, sitting second overall, leading that junior open class is the 252 of Carter Baster. But Carter's got some company right on his tail as well.
Two-rider battle for third and fourth in the overall running order. Those two riders in third and fourth, relatively close nose to tail there. You just saw the headlight coming into the Send It squeeze as the 252 of Carter Bastier was coming up through the split lane portion of the track.
Out front all alone, though, Lyric Knighton still putting on a show for us as he's pulling away from the rest of the field. White flag is out. One more lap to go for the 591 of Trago, Wisconsin's Lyric Knighton.
Final time around the Steeplechase Ski Resort Oval for your overall race leader, Lyric Knighton out of Trago, Wisconsin. Sounds like, or looks like rather, Lyric has got this one well under control. Final trip onto the front straightaway and across the finish line. Lyric's going to take the overall win and the win in the junior 10 to 13-year-old class. The 252 of Carter Bastier will pick up the W in the junior open 18 and under class, with Julia Olson getting the W in the junior 14 to 17 class. That's race number 10 in our 17 race schedule.
Race number 11, 600 open, 18 plus modern up next. Race 12, ditchbanger 03 to 16 should be in staging, along with race 13, 800cc to 850cc open 18 plus, and race 14, our WSAX classes should all be in staging. But for race 11, your starting lineup's going to look like this out of Zumbro Falls, Minnesota. The 5 of Dylan Dorn and the 22 of Little Falls, Minnesota's Nathan Broen.
Dustin Dorn out of Elgin, Minnesota will be atop the 29 machine with Josh Shad from Plainville, Minnesota on the 31.
The 109 of Aiden Leonard racing out of Lake City, Minnesota, alongside Mazeppa's very own Alex Burdick on the 116.
And rounding out this 17-rider lineup, Alexandria, Minnesota's Trevin Hepner with a 505. 7 riders, 600 open, 18-plus modern class is in the Steeplechase start gate as they prepare to have themselves turn loose. Here they come.
You're going to want to keep your eye on the 5 of Dylan Dorn as he was round number 2's double race leader, finished second on the first night, and it looks like he's currently sitting in second overall behind the 109 of Aiden Leonard, who is your current race leader. Aiden Leonard had 2 DNSs during the first weekend and then a second and a third, and he's looking to redeem himself after that first weekend of racing.
I love that speed shot that you saw just a moment ago, those of you watching online, as the riders come up that split lane and take a right-hand turn onto the back straightaway. With that speed shot, you can see a lot of the roost that gets thrown up into the viewing display area for the riders behind them. So not only are they having to battle the track and the conditions, they also have to see their way through all of these obstacles.
109 of Aiden Leonard putting on a solid showing as he pulls away from that battle for second and third. The 5 of Dylan Dorn still holding on to that second place position, but he's got company about 2 or 3 sled lengths right behind. Out front, though, making his way through the Black Diamond drop, up into the West End high banks, and onto the front straightaway. I believe that is going to be the white flag flying. One more lap to go for the 109 of Aiden Leonard.
Leonard is really showing his command, and Leonard looking strong and able to stretch the separation from his skidoo back to the number 5 of Dylan Dorn, holding on to, I believe it's the second place spot there. I believe that's Dylan running second, but our race leader is going to make his way to the checkered flag. This time at the line, there is the checkered flag, and it will be the 109 of Aiden Leonard picking up the win in the 600 open 18-plus modern heat race.
That was race number 11 of 17. Race 12 up next, our ditchbanger 03 to 16 class. Going to have 5 competitors coming at you today from St. Stephen, Minnesota. It's the 393 of Mitchell Fruth racing for Engel Electric, Crazy J's Bar and Grill, GM Drilling, and 213parts.com.
On the 393X out of Elk River, Minnesota is Cole Principali And on the 424 from Stacy, Minnesota, Nathan Steele.
The 828 of Jake Wybush racing out of Lake City, Minnesota today. And rounding out your 5 sled field from Elko, Minnesota, it's the 942 of Bailey Strazy.
Ditchbanger 03 to 16 class is underway. We've got the side-by-side battle for second and third as the race leader pulls away. Fourth and fifth giving chase as well. Out front, as the early race leader, I believe, is the 393 of Mitchell Fruth.
Got a tight battle there going on for second, third. We even got our fourth place competitor trying to get into the mix as well as our top 5, all holding on strong. Lead there. Racer in second place right now, coming up on the front straightaway. White flag is going to fly. Racer in second place right now, coming up on the front straightaway. White flag is going to fly. One more lap to go. For our Ditchbanger 03 to 16 race competitors.
Fruth has this one well under control. Of course, he was challenged early. He was able to fend off the advances of the 828 of Jake Wybush. Wybush was able to get back on the sled. I don't think he's been able to battle back towards the second place position, but as he comes down to the line, it will be that 393 machine. Mitchell Fruth picking up the win in the Ditchbanger 03 to 16 class.
Rest of our competitors going to follow behind in tow, as that is race number 12. Race number 13 going to be up next, 800cc to 850cc Open 18 plus. Race 14 are WSAX classes. Race 15 Ditchbanger Twins, and race 16 plus 30 snowcross and TSS 440 to 600 Invitational should all be in staging before we get to our final class. Race 17, our 120 improved stock and 120 stock classes should be starting to make their way up to the mini track for their first feature race.
4 entries in the 800 to 850cc 18 plus open class. The first 2 are the 7 machine of Ridge Owen from Bloomington, Minnesota, and the 111 of Chad Sigurdsson from Zumbrota, Minnesota.
Racing the 850 for Speedworks and Zebro Construction out of Lino Lakes, Minnesota, it's Rick Zebro. And the 916 of Logan Spletzer racing for FXR Woody Amsoil out of Henderson, Minnesota.
Race 13 is underway, and immediately we've got the teal blue machine pulling away from the competition and leading the pack down into the first turn. It is the 850 machine of Rick Zebro out front.
Right behind him, the 111 of Sigurdsson holding on to second, but he's got a battle for the inside. Sigurdsson back to third as he's wobbling through the Send It squeeze. We've got company, and now moving up into that second place spot, a new competitor getting into the mix, but out front it is still the 850 of Rick Zebro.
Yeah, you saw the 111 of Sigurdsson also blow the berm in that Descendant squeeze turn and didn't quite go over it, but got up on top of it, and that opened up that inside run.
Looks like that might be the 916 of Logan Spletzer, who was able to make his way up into that second place position. So it is now Zebro, Spletzer, Sigurdsson, 1, 2, 3 as it stands. White flag flying, one more lap to go.
Another speed shot on the inside of the front straightaway, looking towards the staging area and the start gate. Now back to the roaming camera atop the girder system just beneath the Steeplechase ski lift. There is the 916 of Logan Spletzer. Logan up to second after sneaking to the inside of the 111 machine of Chad Sigurdsson.
Another lap in the books for Rick Zebro as he's holding on to that lead up front. Lap by lap, though, the 916 of Spletzer slowly but surely reeling him in. Whether or not he'll have enough time in this final lap of the race, don't quite think so, but he has gained quite a bit of ground on the 850 of Zebro.
Yeah, what you notice there is the accordion effect as the checkered flag flies for the 850 of Zebro. The race leader enters the turn, whereas the sled in second, still under full throttle, is able to drive it a bit deeper into the turn. And then exiting the turn, the leader pulls away and stretches that separation again. So that wraps up race number 13 as our final competitor crosses the line to take the checkered flag. 800 to 850 Open 18 plus class heat race win goes to Rick Zebro.
Race number 14, we have another triple threat coming at you. In the WSAX 600 improved class, we have the 901 of Jack Roggenkamp all by himself. In the WSAX Open class, we have a dual competitor situation, the one of Tucker Kempe and the 731 of Jaeger Cordes.
In the WSAX 440 improved 90 to 03 class, Scott Kemp from Bloomer, Wisconsin will be atop the 24. Joshua Berg out of Mondovi, Wisconsin, riding the 84. And William Marble from Merrill, Wisconsin on the 126.
And rounding out the 440 improved class, we have the 329 of Teddy Ballard out of Irma, Wisconsin. And New Prague, Minnesota's 726 of Lucas Hollicky as the green flag flies for our triple threat race.
All 8 sleds rocket out of the Steeplechase start gate, down the front straightaway and into the first turn. Heavy traffic for those final 5 positions as the top 3 try to pull away.
Now keep an eye on that 126 of Marble. He was using that outside line that has been working pretty well for our racers. He came into the whole shot almost dead last, was able to work his way up to 4th around those last few competitors. But up front, we have a nice single file race going on for our top spots.
Yeah, that inside lane just calls to every racer. They think that they can make up some ground by running that inside line, but it's a bit smoother on the outside entry into that first turn, and it's working well for some of our competitors.
731 of Jaeger Cordes, your early race leader by a full front straightaway. He got the jump there, and as we've seen from Jaeger all night long, he is able to pull away from the rest of the field there.
Jaeger having a strong run in this 14th qualifying heat race, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, single file, separated equidistance from 2nd to 3rd and 3rd to 4th. Those 3 racers giving it their all, but they are following the speed of Jaeger Cordes.
White flag is out, 1 more lap to go for our field. Jaeger Cordes trying to make up for the second round of races. He won the first 2 finals on Saturday the 13th, but on the 14th he had a couple of DNSs, so he's making it up here by taking a heat race win in the WSAX Open class, going to end up finishing on the top of the podium for Hanco Utilities, Lindsey Keene State Farm.
Hold on to it.
As I believe that was the one of Tucker Kempe finishing right behind him in the Open class. He ended up taking the wins there in the second round of races.
Yeah,
so Kempe and Cordes are the 2 battling back and forth.
We've talked about the rollers at the end of the Hail Mary Highway front straightaway into turn number 1, but there are also a couple of rollers coming out of the West End High Banks as the racers make that climb up onto the front straightaway, and that's what has set up some of those interesting moments at the start-finish line.
That was race 14. Race 15 of 17. All racers should be in the staging area for the final few heat races of the day, and the first final race for race 17, 120 and 120 improved stock. But race 15, your starting lineup is going to look like this.
Zimmerman, Minnesota's Jory Cordes will be atop the 7 machine. Wesson Bishman from Princeton, Minnesota is on the 14, and Easton Bishman from Princeton on the 42.
The 217 of Howard Lake, Minnesota's Jason Helmbrecht racing for J&J Sports and Justice Brothers, alongside the 521 of David Olson racing for Olson Plumbing and Heating of Montevideo, Mid-States Millwrights, Fast Threads, and BuyRaceShirts.com out of Montevideo, Minnesota.
St. Paul, Minnesota's Brian Witham on the 580, and Hunter Wagner from Zimmerman, Minnesota on the 746. Ditchbanger Twins heat race is underway.
Now, something cool I like to see about this class, you have racers as young as 16 years old all the way up to 56, so we have all sorts of talent in this class here, and they're all holding on to each other strong. You know, we've got some single file racing in this first half of the first lap, but they're all, you know, within a couple seconds of each other.
Woo, there we bump some elbows and some kneecaps into the West End High Banks there in a battle for position.
Out front, leading early on, the 213 who we actually don't even have on our lineup here, is holding on to the lead.
Yes, we apologize. Don't have a name for our race leader, but he enjoys about a 10 sled length lead, about the same distance back to third. Fourth and fifth are nose to tail.
Single file throughout the field. Our top two racers pulling away from that nice little two-rider battle for third and fourth. It's still the 2:13 out front and pulling away as another lap goes in the books here today. Single file in the ditchbanger twins class.
There's a two-rider battle for position, two-racer battle for position down into the send it squeeze. They make their split lane selection.
Almost had one rider in second go up and over that send it squeeze corner there. We've seen it quite a few times. He was able to save it, but just barely. Looks like that might be the 746 of Hunter Wagner sitting in second as the checkered flag is going to fly. It's the 2:13 taking the heat race win today. Hunter Wagner unofficially finishing second in our ditchbanger twins class.
The 2:13, I believe Isaac Pavic was supposed to actually be in the next heat race in the TSS 440-600 Invitational. Not sure if we got that. I don't think we got that wrong. I think Isaac actually lined up in the wrong race there. Interesting. But race number 16 will be next, so instead of two classes, it'll be one class for race number 16, plus 30 snowcross. Dylan Dorn from Zumbro Falls on the number 5, and Dustin Dorn from Elgin, Minnesota on the 29. Mitchell Fruth from St. Stephen's, Minnesota, back for some more laps on the 393, and Prior Lake, Minnesota's Corey Heineme on the 395. Again, there was supposed to be a second class, TSS 440-600 Invitational, with Isaac Pavic in the 213, but Isaac actually raced in the prior race, so plus 30 snowcross. Heat race underway. Oh, a lot of air on the inside. An entry to the first turn. We are 4 racers strong, battling for the lead in plus 30 snowcross. Top 2 trying to get side by side. Third and fourth giving chase.
Final heat race of the night going on right now. We're going to have a quick 15-minute intermission after this before we get into our first main for the 120 stock and 120 improved stock class. But right now, out on the track, our plus 30 snowcross race hitting the field. Nice two-rider battle for second and third. I see the 29 of Dorn sitting in third right now. Out front, though, I believe that might be the 5 of Dylan Dorn leading the charge,
which would leave the 393 of Mitchell Fruth holding on to the fourth place spot in the running order. So now we've settled things out. We're pretty much into single file action as everybody makes their way out of the east, headed west on the back straightaway, down the Black Diamond drop and headed towards the West End High Banks. Uh-oh, we got a challenge for position as your race leader went high in the banking, and we have a new leader, the 29 of Dustin Dorn now out front.
We got a nice Dorn v. Dorn battle, as that's actually the 395 of Heineme out front.
Where did Heineme come from? What a run by Heineme there.
Heineme, your new race leader. So it goes Heineme, Dorn, Dorn, Fruth, 1, 2, 3, 4. Dylan Dorn sitting in second. Dustin Dorn rounding out your top 3. But out front, checkered flag is going to fly for the 395 of Corey Heineme, taking the win for Ray's Sport and Cycle and Rock Speed Effects.
What a great charge by Corey. Passing for position has been at a premium here tonight. Corey on that first lap, running third in the running order, was able to race all the way to the top spot, steal a couple of spots away from the Dorn family. So it is the 395 of Corey Heineme picking up the win in the plus 30 snowcross class.
And just like that, our heat racing action for the night has officially come to a close. So here's what's about to happen. We are going to take about a 15-minute intermission quick before we get on to our main events. And our first main event is actually going to be race 17, our 120 improved stock and 120 stock class. So that will be our first race back in about 15 minutes before we move back into our regular run of programs, starting things off with race 1, 2, 3, etc., etc. So that being said, we will take a quick 15-minute intermission here before we get back to some green flag racing action momentarily. In the meantime, let's hear a quick word from our sponsors.
Every great journey begins with a trusted guide. And when it comes to finding your perfect home, there's no one better than Kathy Vetter. With over 10 years of experience and a passion for real estate, Kathy Vetter helps you find the perfect home, a peaceful country retreat, a cozy single-family house, or your very first step toward a lifetime home. She also specializes in commercial real estate, guiding you through every step of the way. From the heart of the metro to the scenic countryside, Kathy Vetter knows the Minnesota market inside and out, committed to finding the perfect fit for you, no matter where you are. Buying your first home can feel overwhelming, but with Vetter by your side, it's a smooth and exciting journey. She makes first-time buyers feel confident, supported, and understood every single step of the way. From your first showing to handing over the keys, Kathy Vetter works tirelessly to ensure you get the home you've always wanted. Kathy Vetter, your trusted real estate expert across Minnesota. From vibrant metro living to serene countryside escapes to agricultural and commercial spaces. Let her help you unlock the door to your next chapter.
Kevco has been an industry leader in high-performance oil pans and components for over 35 years. Made in Fairmont, Minnesota, Kevco prides itself on being American-made. Kevco has expanded our product line way beyond just oil pans to valve covers, breather systems, jack stands, boilers, wheel sockets, and much, much more. Check out KevcoRacing.com to see everything we have to offer, including our line of street, off-road, and performance oil pans and accessories. Or call 800-770-3557 to talk with our friendly customer service today.
When you've got to ship it from anywhere to anywhere,
QualityFreightRate.com.
The LTL Freight Logistics Specialist for your small business.
QualityFreightRate.com.
We simplify shipping, eliminate those surprise charges, and negotiate the best rates from most LTL qualified carriers.
QualityFreightRate.com.
Special residential and liftgate rates available for automotive and ag implements.
QualityFreightRate.com.
Use the promo code ICE and get 10% off your first shipment. Startup is so easy. Get a quote and ship today. QualityFreightRate.com.
As another quick reminder, we're currently in our intermission portion right now. We'll be heading back to some green flag racing action here momentarily, starting things off with our 120 stock and 120 improved stock class over on the mini track before we move into our first round of finals on the big track, our 200 stock 9 to 12 class, junior girls under 200 cc. Kids ditchbanger 8 to 12 in race number 2, along with junior ditchbanger 13 to 17. And race number 3, our Pro 206 Super 225 kids in 120 open and champ class. So once again, just finishing up with our intermission here before we get back into some green flag racing momentarily. Good evening, racers and race fans, and welcome back after our short intermission here. We are all set and ready to go, getting things all situated for our first round of features for the evening.
What we've experienced already tonight, we're qualifying heat races for all of our divisions. Our feature events will consist of 2 run-throughs for each class. That's right, race fans, 2 features for each class. So we have feature number 1, we'll run through the entire race order. Then feature number 2, the entire race order again. The neat thing about this, Zach, is it lives right up to the name of this series. Sunday Funday is all about fun. Twice the fun and twice the opportunity to get one of those highly collectible finishing plaques that XR Racing gives away.
Exactly. We really have the emphasis here to give racers as much track time as possible, which is why instead of the traditional 1 heat, 1 feature format, we have that heat and double feature format. So we'll be starting things off up on the, not exactly the mini track, but on the front straightaway of the main track for our first feature race of the evening, our 120 improved stock and 120 stock class.
And a quick reminder, those of you who are watching online, don't forget you can get involved in a myriad of ways. First of all, make sure you're following all of the social media efforts of both X Racing, Sunday Funday, and MBTV Sports. Don't forget, if you are a business owner and you'd like to get involved, always looking for corporate promotional relationships. So if you'd like to get involved with X Racing in the form of a sponsorship of their Sunday Funday program, make sure you get in touch with X Racing through all of the social media or direct contact opportunities. And if you'd like to be involved with MBTV Sports, make sure that you reach out through the social media efforts or direct contact as well. I know that there are opportunities in a varying ways to be involved with this Sunday Funday series.
And not only that, but it is a growing Sunday Funday series. We have the 4 weekends of scheduled racing events here at Steeplechase Ski Resort in beautiful Mazeppa, Minnesota. But we've also recently added on 2 additional weekends of racing at Brainerd International Raceway in Brainerd, Minnesota. So we've added on a Friday and Saturday race, February 6th and 7th. At Brainerd, as well as a Saturday-Sunday, February 28th and March 1st race at Brainerd. So we have more opportunities to show your brands across to the viewers and streamers.
Those of you who are watching online, you can see that we're beginning the process of bringing our 120 racers out onto the front straightaway of the much larger Steeplechase Oval. That's right, we've created a micro oval on the front straightaway of the larger oval, and this will give an opportunity for these youngsters to put on a show for family members and supporters, either online or here at Steeplechase Ski Hill. Don't forget, if you're watching online, drop us a note, social media, and we will post it online. Let everybody know who you're cheering for or from where you are watching. Here's your starting lineup for main event number 1 for our 120 improved stock and 120 stock racers.
In the 120 improved stock class, we have 2 racers coming at you this evening. The 292 of Sauk Center, Minnesota's Elliot Massman racing for Engel Electric and Crazy J's Bar and Grill, alongside the 555 of Bennett Buress out of Isani, Minnesota, racing for Buress Excavating, Arc Septic, and Sewer Works.
In the 120 stock class, Cook, Minnesota's Nash Betterly will be atop the 22 machine. Out of Foley, Minnesota, Bowden Nelson, on the 25B, Schema Exteriors, Jaeger Construction, Osseo Nickel Barn, Nix Electric entry.
We also have the 33 of Case Viden racing out of Delano, Minnesota for Midwest Trailer Leasing, Black Label, Amsoil Fly, and Viden Motorsports, along with Sutton Henkes racing the Henkes Landcorp Precision Tune Automotive Domco LLC number 304 out of Mayer, Minnesota.
And rounding out the 6-rider entry list for the 120 stock class, we have Ham Lake, Minnesota's Kyler Wunderlich on the Speed Pro Imaging St. Paul Bill Bunn Enterprises 321 sled. And out of Claremont, Minnesota, atop the Wildlife Kennels Mud Duck Designs, John Lance Construction 709, Colton Lance. So, the lineups are 8 riders strong, and we have 8 riders on the starting line for the 120 improved stock and 120 stock first main event.
Some nice racing action. First time out here for these youngsters. We didn't end up having a heat race for our 120 stock, 120 improved stock class. So they're just going to be doing the 2 features today. We have a quick shout out on YouTube from @Ohm6. Barres Racing fans are out strong tonight, watching all over the world. That is what we like to hear, which is a perfect reminder that we are live streaming tonight's events for free on MBTVsports.com and through the affiliated MBTV Sports Facebook and YouTube pages. So for any of those here in the grandstands right now, had some friends or family who weren't able to make it over to the track, feel free to send them those links so they can still be a part of the action. Jenna Peterson saying, "This is awesome. Thank you so much for covering this awesome event. We are happy to bring this coverage out to all those who are able to join, or those who may not be able to join as well."
Angeli Esposito telling us that enjoying the stream. Christy Russell, 198, watching from Livermore, Iowa. Go Zane Russell. Zane was out on the track earlier. Susan Stressy talking about Zach Bailey there. And we get our first gate drop for the micros. The 120 improved stock and 120 stock racers are under green flag conditions.
The 292 machine of Elliot Masman taking the early hop off the line, and he is leading the charge early on. Elliot Masman had a pretty solid week here the first few days that we were here. He has so far taken every single race win in the 120 improved stock class that we have had, and it is looking like he wants to make it 5 for 5 so far in this next feature race of the season.
Holding on to the number 2 spot in the running order is the 304 of Sutton Henkes. Sutton running in the 120 stock class. Then the 25B of Bowden Nelson, who's come under challenge. So many positions about ready to change hands as we continue to put more. Look at this 3-wide action out of the 4th turn.
And on the mini track nonetheless. Now this is the future of the sport here. Love getting to see them battle back and forth. We might even be woo, we got some going off the track a little bit. Nelson getting a little slideways there, but he's able to capitalize, hold on to it, and keep the lead going strong.
Important to point out that while these riders and their sleds are diminutive in size, the obstacles that they have to deal with are on the main track, so full-size rollers and jumps that they're having to deal with. Look at this 3-rider battle at the front of the field. They're on the back straightaway. Checkered flag is out, and there is your first main event winner in the 120 stock and 120 improved stock main.
And this just in, we are going to be doing something a little different here. We have gotten the checkered flag. We're actually going to re-rack and restack these racers for their second main event of the night as well, so we can get this mini track all situated for them, keep it nice and ready to go, and also get these youngsters into their bedtimes as it's starting to get a little late for some of these racers.
So the 304 of Sutton Henkes having a great run. The 321 of Kyler Wunderlich having a great run. The 25B of Bowden Nelson having a great run. But we also saw great runs from Nash Betterly on the 22, Case Vetton on the 33, Colton Lance on the 709, Elliot Masman with the 292, and Bennett Barris on the 555. Some fun racing action for these youngsters as they hone their skills on the sleds.
Always fun to watch these classes. Now, these are the racers that we'll be watching out on the track for the next 10, 20, 30, 50 years.
So, Zach, what are the age range for these youngsters who are riding these 120s?
Now, that's the crazy thing. The elder of the class is the 292 of Elliot Masman at a whopping 8 years old.
8 years old is the old one.
And now, this one's actually shocking. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 of the 8 racers we have out there are tied as the youngest at a mere 4 years old.
Well, that is wonderful. It's a great sport. It's a great family event. Whether you're at a racing event like Sunday Funday or just out riding the trails, snowmobiling as a sport is a great family activity, and we're going to watch these youngsters have some more fun as the green flies again for main event number 2. The whole shot's going to go to the 304. Again, it's Sutton Henkes getting a great start. Ooh, we stack them up on the outside of turns 1 and 2 there.
It was Henkes, Nelson, and Masman 1, 2, 3 as we went into that first turn there.
Case Vedden on the 33 machine got caught up in that tangle in the first turn. Race leader on the start-finish line straightaway as we see a couple of the usual suspects battling at the front of the field.
Nelson putting on a solid showing as well. He had a few solid races when we were here a couple weeks ago, had a feature race win, and he is looking to battle back for more today. But out front, I believe it is still that 304 of Sutton Hentges, holding on strong to the lead in the 120 stock class.
321 machine of Kyler Wunderlich giving up a position to, I see also the double deuce there of Nash Betterly having a good run.
White flag is out. One more lap to go for the 304 of Hentges as he's making his way up through lap traffic, taking that final left-hand hairpin corner onto the front straightaway. Checkered flag is gonna fly for the 304 of Sutton Hentges, taking the win for Hentges Landcorp, Precision Tune Automotive, Domco LLC, Mice Watkins Outland Wraps.
So remember, as this multi-weekend series progresses through the 2025-2026 season, you're going to notice these youngsters getting quicker, getting better, becoming much more accomplished in the sport of snowcross, and this is where it all begins. Putting a youngster on a smaller sled like this, giving them an opportunity to experience some fun. On a night like this, under the lights, that's every youngster's fantasy, is to do whatever sport it is that they enjoy under the lights in front of a cheering crowd, and that's what we see tonight, round number 3, Saturday action of the X Racing Sunday Funday program.
I'm thinking I can come back down.
So we've ran 2 main events for the 120 stock and 120 improved stock racers. Give us an opportunity to turn the track over here, open up that front straightaway of the big track, and we will get into our main events for the rest of the field, starting with the first run through of the main events. And our first main will be 200 stock 9 to 12-year-olds and junior girls under 200 cc. So the call goes out to the pits. All of you racers in the first 4 races should be heading over to the staging area if you're not there already. Again, that would be 200 stock 9 to 12 and junior girls under 200 cc. That's race number 1 to staging, please. Race number 2, kids ditchbanger 8 to 12 and junior ditchbanger 13 to 17.
Race number 3 will be Pro 206 Super 225 Kids and 120 Open Champ. Race number 4, transition 8 to 10-year-olds. Should all be making your way up to staging, should probably be in staging if you're one of those first few races.
So races 1 through 4 into staging, and as a matter of fact, we'll begin the process of loading the gate for our first main event on the big track, which will be that 200 stock 9 to 12 and junior girls under 200 cc class. Again, quick reminder, this is round 3 of a multi-round 2025-2026 Sunday Funday series presented by X Racing. Rounds 1 and 2 were December 13th and 14th, a couple of weeks ago when it was downright frigid here at Steeplechase Ski Hill in Mazeppa, Minnesota. Of course, tonight and tomorrow, rounds 3 and 4. Rounds 5 and 6 will be January 17th and 18th. Rounds 7 and 8 will be up in Brainerd, Minnesota, and that'll be February 6th and 7th. Rounds 9 and 10 will be February 21st and 22nd, right back here at Steeplechase Ski Hill. And the final 2 rounds of the Sunday Funday series this year will be February 28th and March 1st in Brainerd, Minnesota. So if you want to get involved, if you've got a sled out there that you've just been itching to ride, keep appraised of the upcoming events and come join us for some fun, because Zach Bailey, that's what the Sunday Funday series is all about. Obviously, it's racing. Obviously, you want to battle your competitors and maybe get yourself a race win, but it really is about hitting the snow with that sled that you love and just having a good time.
It wouldn't be Sunday Funday without the fun in there. So we've got lots of great and fun racing action coming at you guys throughout the rest of the season. While we finish up some track prep right here, we'll take a moment to thank a few more of our sponsors for coming out for the season. Husqvarna. With over 330 years of innovation and passion, Husqvarna provides professionals and consumers with forest, park, lawn, and garden products. They let high performance meet usability and safety, making you ready to get the job done efficiently. Husqvarna offers a wide and growing range of products and accessories, including everything from chainsaws and trimmers to innovative robotic lawnmowers. Visit Husqvarna.com/US today to find a dealer near you. Another big sponsor we have out here for the 2025-2026 Sunday Funday racing season is the Hunter Hool Memorial Foundation. Arising from Hunter Hool's true love of racing and strong passion for helping others, the Hunter Hool Memorial Foundation is dedicated to helping those in need, the advancement of education, and engaging in other charitable purposes. Through the combination of Hunter's passions, the foundation strives to benefit the community and those in need. Visit HunterHoolMemorialFoundation.org for more information or to donate today. Some other sponsors that we have for the 2025 Sunday Funday season: Grandpa Bob's Real Log Cabins, MBTV Sports, Bikeman Performance, Caliber, Speedworks, USI, Staging Pro, Omara Motorsports, Chopper Power Sports, Power Lodge, Waldock Customs, Bodywise Chiropractic, Playstead Companies Incorporated, Rugged Radios, Rock Speed Effects, Thomas Snow Sports, Fly Racing, Professional Mechanical Services, Olson Plumbing and Heating Incorporated, Quality Freight Rate, Custodio Home Group, and Olson Power and Equipment. If it weren't for all of these amazing sponsors that we have, we wouldn't be able to bring you all of this great racing action from the beautiful slopes of Steeplechase Ski Resort every other weekend here. So when you see those companies out in the community, make sure to give them a huge thanks, give them a shout out for bringing their services to Sunday Funday. We're just finishing up some final track prep here, but in the meantime, we'll take a couple seconds to hear a few words from our sponsors.
Slight change. Looks like we have got our first main event in the Steeplechase start gate. And here is the starting lineup for main event number 1 for the 200 stock 9 to 12 and junior girls under 200 cc classes.
Heat race winner in the 200 stock 9 to 12 class was the 524 of Michael Rambo. We also saw the 989 of Tyler Custodio and the 23 of Liam Peterson up on the top spots.
Other competitors in that 200 stock class include Jace Wurzberger from New Ulm on the 612, Blake Zebro from Lino Lakes on the 702, J.C. Carlson from Litchfield, Minnesota on the 708, and Camille Jerdy from Delano, Minnesota on the 723.
And the lone racer in the junior girls under 200cc class out of Faribault, Minnesota, it's the 915 of Addison Schrader.
So our start flagger signaling to the racers to get those revs up, and the green flag is down, and away they go. Main event number 1 is underway for the 200 stock 9 to 12 and junior girls under 200cc racers.
All 8 racers making the call, and out front early, it's the 524 of Michael Rambo, but he's got company. The 989 of Tyler Custodio was looking to the outside, trying to make a move, not quite able to do it right away. Rambo, your early race leader.
Those two had a battle in the heat race earlier on tonight, but now we see the 989 and the 23 of Liam Peterson battling for position. Peterson tried to get up alongside of him, challenged for that spot, couldn't quite make it happen. The 612 of Jace Wurzberger in the battle as well.
Got a nice 4-rider battle developing up for the lead. Single file with a little bit of space in between. Rambo taking that outside line along with the 989 of Custodio, the 23 of Peterson, and the 612 of Wurzberger opting to take that inside line. Seemed to work well for all of them, but out front it's still the 524 of Rambo leading the charge.
Top 5 in this multi-rider series, multi-rider main event, excuse me. Relatively tight and nose to tail. We'll see if there will be any changes in running order in the final few laps of this first main event.
White flag is out, one more lap to go, and Custodio is holding on to the 524 of Rambo. Only about a 2-sled gap in between our top 2 racers as the 23 of Peterson opts to take the outside line that time around.
Now look at that battle tighten up for 4th and 5th, the final 2 spots in the top 5 as the top 3 try to pull away. It is the 524 out front, Michael Rambo trying to back up that heat race win with main event number 1 win as well.
One final time onto the front straightaway. Checkered flag is in his sights, and it's the 524 of Michael Rambo taking the win for Rambo Real Estate, Fly Racing, Donlinger Ford, and Mankato Motorsports, among others. The 989 of Custodio and the 23 of Peterson are going to round out your top 3. In race number 1, 200 stock 9 to 12 class.
That is our first main event on the full-size track. We get ready for our second main event, which will be kids ditchbanger 8 to 12-year-olds and junior ditchbanger 13 to 17-year-olds. In the junior ditchbanger 13 to 7-year-old class, Lyric Knighton from Trago, Wisconsin picked up the heat race win on the 591. Nora Tesmer from Millville is racing the 41, and Callan Wybush from Mazeppa, Minnesota is on the 15. Those 3 racers in the junior ditchbanger 13 to 17-year-old class.
In the kids ditchbanger 8 to 12 class, we have the 27 of Cassie Scott out of Trago, Wisconsin. Millville, Minnesota's Amelia Tesmer on the 33, and the 555 of Landon Podine racing out of Stewartville, Minnesota.
6 racers. First main event for the kids ditchbanger and the junior ditchbanger classes here as part of Funday and the X Racing Winter Series. What a night we have at Steeplechase Ski Resort. The sunset, temperatures have not dropped too much. There is a light breeze in the area, so there is a chill in the air, but nothing like we saw on round number 1 Saturday night portion of the show.
Green light is go, and we are racing. One of our competitors taking the jump out front. That's the 591 of Lyric Knighton leading the charge ahead of a 2-rider battle for 2nd and 3rd. The 41 of Nora Tesmer is in the mix there. Tesmer going to move back to 3rd. Our 2nd place rider able to split the difference on the outside and take over that 2nd place position. Out front all alone, though, it is the 591 of Knighton leading the pack and absolutely pulling away.
Actually, now we have a 3-racer battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th, which is tightening up a little bit as they complete lap number 1. I believe that was the 41 machine of Nora Tesmer holding on to 3rd. There we see our camera focused in on the 591 of Lyric Knighton, who is your overall race leader. Lyric racing in the junior ditchbanger 13 to 17-year-old class.
And putting on a show in that class. 2 laps in and already a full straightaway advantage over the 2nd place racer. Here we got a nice speed shot look through the rhythm section as he's making his left-hand corner down to the Send It Squeeze. There we can see our 2nd place racer coming in behind as well, opting to take that far outside line.
That camera angle right there really displays how intense those rollers are on the inside, that entry to turn number 1. I probably have misnamed them as rollers because they are quite intimidating in size.
Back onto the front straightaway. Checkered flag is going to fly for Lyric Knighton. Taking the win today for Timber Ford and of Hayward, Timber Marine Services, Amsoil, Shurin Speed Sports, Apex Roofing, and AGR Painting. Rest of the field going to come in tow behind. That is race number 2. Race number 3 about to hit the track. Race 4, transition 8 to 10. Race 5, junior ditchbanger 10 to 13 and Leaf Spring. And race 6, 200 open and 200 stock 4 to 8 should all be in staging. Race 7, transition 8 to 12 combined. And race 8 and 9, ditchbanger 90 to 09 heats 1 and 2 should all be making their way to staging.
Race number 3, main event number 1, will be a 2-racer mono-a-mono shootout in the Super 225 kids class. Jace Wertzberger from New Ulm, Minnesota on Uncle Mark's Sled Parts Carbide Podcast 612. And Hayes Carlson from Litchfield, Minnesota on the 409. It was Wertzberger picking up the heat race win earlier tonight with Hayes Carlson finishing right behind. Let's see if the tables will turn for this first main event or not. Both riders on the sleds, ready to rock and roar as we get ready for race number 3, main number 1. Remember, each class gets 2 main events tonight. We've already had 2 main events for the 120 racers. And here is our first main event for the Super 225 Kids class.
It's going to be a drag race down the front stretch, but early advantage is going to go to the 612 of Jace Wurzberger, opting to take that outside line. Carlson ducks down to the inside, seeing if he might be able to gain some ground. He's able to do so a bit. We make it through the send it squeeze side by side. Oh, they almost touch in that corner, but it's still Wurzberger out front leading the charge.
Wurzberger's got some speed running the outside lane, but Hayes Carlson, tip of the cap for trying the inside run there in both the first and second turn. He's going to try that inside lane again on the west end high banks. Couldn't quite get the front end to dig there. That sled pushed up the high banks there and unfortunately gave up some ground to your race leader, Jace Wurzberger.
Wurzberger still on the outside line, making that line work well for him. Carlson tucking it down low, seeing if he might be able to shave a little bit of time off that lap by taking the shorter distance around the track. He's able to hold on to Wurzberger well, but Wurzberger is still out front all alone in the lead.
Single file down the Black Diamond drop, which is that transition from the height elevation-wise of the back straightaway down to a lower portion of the track before the racers enter that west end high banked turn at the west end, as the name implies, of this track. The white flag is out. Final lap for our Super 225 Kids racers.
Our racers are going to make their way through the back straightaway of the track one more time, but as we transition through to the west end high banks, take that left-hand corner onto the front straightaway, the checkered flag is going to be in his sights. Just like we saw in the heat race, he's going to do it again for this first feature. Checkered flag flies for the 612 of Jace Wurzberger, taking the win for Uncle Mark's Sled Parts and Carbide Podcast. The 409 of Hayes Carlson going to settle for second.
Race number 4, main number 1, is in the Steeplechase start gate. This is transition 8 to 12-year-old class. Heat race winner was Tyler Custodio from Prior Lake, Minnesota on the 989, followed across the line by Lakeville, Minnesota's Michael Rambo on the 188.
Behind them was the 25K of Cashton Nelson out of Foley, Minnesota. We also had the 627 of Ellis Middlestat out of Racine, Minnesota Racing. 4 racers for race number 4, transition 8 to 10 class.
It's the 4 for 4 main event, right? 4 racers, race 4, main event number 1, and they are away as the green flag flies. Drag race up onto the main straightaway across the start-finish line and into those rollers to get them into turn number 1. Now here comes the downhill portion. We call it the fall-away field to get them into that very tight send-it squeeze. And this has been so interesting watching these racers try to figure out that tight left-hand turn. They can really crimp it tight and get a flat run on the climb back up towards the chairlift, or they can let that sled roll to the outside, but then they've got a roller that they've got to clear. So it's fun watching them figure out which lane is going to be quickest.
Early race leader seems to be the 188 of Michael Rambo setting the pace. 989 of Tyler Custodio sitting in second. Then it's the 25K of Nelson in third. But Nelson's got company right behind him, the 627 of Ellis Middlestat, seeing if they might be able to make it up onto the podium for this first feature race of their evening. But out front all alone, it is still Michael Rambo leading the charge.
So this is a bit of a change from the heat race as Rambo crossed the line second behind the 989 of Custodio. Custodio still holding on to that number 2 spot. And as Zach had mentioned, nose-to-tail battle for third and fourth. Final lap for our transition 8 to 10-year-olds.
Also a change from what we saw during our first 2 rounds. First round, Tyler Custodio took both main event wins. Second round, Cashton Nelson took both main event wins. And now we have a third main event winner, the 188 of Michael Rambo, taking the W here today in the first main event of the transition 8 to 12 class. Custodio going to finish second. Nelson going to round out your top 3 unofficially in transition 8 to 10, race number 4.
Race number 5, main event number 1 will be our junior ditchbanger 10 to 13-year-olds and the leaf spring class in the junior ditchbanger group. We have 3 entries. Cassie Scott from Trago, Wisconsin on the 27, Brentley Krusmark from Pine Island, Minnesota on the 72, and Landon Podine from Stewartville, Minnesota on the triple nickel 555.
In the leaf spring class, heat race winner was the 284 of Curtis Turner out of Hudson, Wisconsin. Finishing second, the 591 of Lyric Knighton from Trago, Wisconsin. And rounding out your 3-sled leaf spring class, Hudson, Wisconsin's Jack Mackey on the 159.
Drag race down the straightaway as they get started and head down into the first turn. I thought the race leader looked like he was going to get a little topsy-turvy, and the 284 of Curtis Turner holds on to the number 2 spot around the east end of the track. There is your early race leader, the 72 of Brentley Krusmark.
Now, what you'll remember from the heat race, Krusmark actually had the race lead going on early in the race, ended up, I believe, going off the track through the send it squeeze or had a stall going up the climb, but ended up dropping back to 4th overall. So he's trying to redeem himself during this feature race here and start things off on the top step of the podium.
Blue helmet and the bright orange riding gear. That's the 591 of Knighton. Knighton holding out of the number 3 spot in the running order, right behind the 284. Camera focused in on the 72 of race leader Brentley Krusmark right now.
It's Krusmark, Turner, Knighton, 1, 2, 3 as the white flag is out. 1 more lap to go. Our top 3 racers in semi-close quarters, about 4 sled lengths in between each of them as they make their way through the send it squeeze and up and over through that split lane section. Right now it's still the 72 of Brentley Krusmark leading the way in the junior ditchbanger 10 to 13 class.
Gotta tell you, Curtis Turner is maybe a bit quicker, especially on the east end of the track, but Krusmark's going to be able to get out of the west end high banks quicker, and it'll be the 72 machine of Brentley Krusmark picking up the overall win and the first main event win in the junior ditchbanger 10 to 13-year-old class, with Curtis Turner backing up the heat race win on the 284 with the leaf spring main event win.
That was race number 5. Up next is going to be race number 6 of the evening, our 200 open and 200 stock 4 to 8-year-old class. All alone in the 200 open class, heat race winner was the 612 of Jace Wurtzberger out of New Ulm, Minnesota.
In the 200 stock 4 to 8-year-old class, heat race winner was Hayes Carlson from Litchfield on the 409. Other racers, the 99 of Rylan Betterly from Cook, Minnesota, and the 105 of Brooks Podine from Stewartville, Minnesota.
Out of Lake City, Minnesota, it's the 119 of Sawyer Ferguson, and Cade Viden racing the 133 from Delano, Minnesota.
Henry Rolfe out of Lake City, Minnesota is on the 168 with Mayor, Minnesota's Leighton Hentges on the 219.
The 304 of Sutton Henkes racing out of Mayor, Minnesota, alongside Claremont, Minnesota's Owen Lance on the 410, and the 960 of Calvin Schrader out of Faribault, Minnesota, rounding out your field for race number 6. 11 entries, 2 classes in race 6. Checking our line, making sure we're good to go. Green flag is out, and we are 200 racing.
They start them 11 wide. They quickly funneled it down to 4 wide, 3 wide, 2 wide, and now we've just got a sole leader taking us down into turn number 1, and I believe it is the 409 of Hayes Carlson.
Keep an eye on Wurtzberger, though. He was our heat race winner overall. Started in midfield, took that outside line he's been liking so well, and was able to move up to 3rd place overall. So he is sitting there. Now, actually, I believe pushed back to 4th place. The 410 of Owen Lance just ahead in 3rd, but Wurtzberger all alone in the 200 open class, trying to make some moves on those top 4 competitors.
Race leader crosses the line, followed by technically a 3-wide battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. They were literally 3 wide as they approached the start-finish line there, trying to decide who's going to take 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Wurtzberger taking that outside line once again, and it is working for him as he's able to move his way up to 2nd place. The 410 of Owen Lance going to move back to 4th, but we've got one competitor stalled just outside of the Send It Squeeze, out front all alone. Your race leader is still the 409 of Hayes Carlson.
Carlson appears to have this one well under control as he works through the midpoint of this first main event. Has opened up about a half a straightaway length separation back to second. White flag is out. One more lap to go for Hayes Carlson, your race leader on the 409.
Now this is the redemption arc Hayes Carlson is looking for. Came out here for that first weekend of races with 4 back-to-back DNSs. So he is happy to come back out here this week and take what may be his first feature race win of the year in the 200 stock 4-8 class. He's going to make his way down the Black Diamond drop up into the West End High Banks. Left-hand corner, he's got Würzburger right behind him. It'll be a drag race to the line. Who's it going to be?
Decided at the last few feet there. The 409 of Hayes Carlson holds on for the main event win. Würzburger finishing second overall, still gets a main event win, running in the 200 open class. Here comes 3 riders battling for position to the waving checkered flag as we wrap up race number 6, main event number 1. Race number 7 will be our transition 8 to 12 combined class. In staging, we'd be looking for race number 8, ditchbanger 90 to 09, heat number 1, and ditchbanger 90 to 09, heat number 2 competitors. And we'd also like to see junior 10 to 13, junior 14 to 17, and junior open 18 and under racers in staging as well.
In the race number 7 transition 8 to 12 combined class, heat race winner was the 188 of Michael Rambo out of Lakeville, Minnesota. Behind him, the 25K of Cashton Nelson from Foley, Minnesota. And behind him, racing Minnesota's Ellis Middlestat on the 627.
Other riders in this 6-racer lineup include Hovey Heineme from Prior Lake, Minnesota, riding the Rays Sport and Cycle Rewire 101. Litchfield, Minnesota's J.C. Carlson's atop the 708, and we'll see Walter Strezzi from Elko, Minnesota on the 973. 6 racers for race number 7, main event number 1. They are in the Steeplechase start gate, just awaiting a clear track and the green flag.
Now Cashton Nelson's going to be one of the racers to keep an eye on this time around. He finished second in the heat race, but he has won 3 of the 4 main events in this class so far this year. He's on a hot streak. Finished second in the first main event of the year, finished first in the additional 3 races, so he's looking to see if he might be able to do it yet again here tonight. It's definitely going to be a Rambo-Nelson race, however. Then you throw in Middlestat into the mix as well. Middlestat hasn't raced here before this season, so we'll see if Middlestat might be able to throw their hat in the ring also.
And of course, since it's X Racing, there's always the X factor. You never know if one of these other riders are going to rise to the challenge and perhaps surprise everybody and throw everybody else back on their laurels. So are we going to see somebody like Hovey Heineme or J.C. Carlson or Walter Strezzi race into the top 3 or maybe even pick up a main event win? The green flag is out. We're already bumping and banging in a 2-rider battle for second and third right behind our race leader.
Early race leader is going to be the 188 of Michael Rambo setting the pace. See the 25K of Cashton Nelson sitting in second right behind. We have a third place racer, only about a sled's length behind Nelson. Might be trying to get into the mix as well, but out front all alone, it's the 188 of Rambo leading the charge.
And there's what we love to see in that 2-rider battle for second and third. Of course, the old adage is you can't drive through your competitor, you've got to find a way around them, and that racer in third trying that outside line to see if it might work.
Looks like that's the 627 of Ellis Middlestat holding on to third. Our top 3 currently as it stands, just like we saw in the heat race. Rambo, Nelson, Middlestat, 1, 2, 3. Rest of the field in tow behind.
And again, these racers in the transition 8 to 12 combined class, age ranging just as the name of the class indicates, from 8 years of age up to 12 years of age. So these are still some of the younger competitors on the sleds, really turning some fast laps in this main event.
And especially on the track here, they're also on the younger side of that 4-year gap. We have 8-year-old racer, 9-year-old racer. So we've definitely got some youngsters out here that we'll be seeing stick around for a few years here.
Michael Rambo, as a matter of fact, your race leader, taking the checkered flag, 9 years young, but showing some strength and some speed, picking up main event number 1 win. Following him across the line, the 25K of Cashton Nelson and Ellis Middlestead rounds out the top 3 in main event number 1 for the transition 8 to 12 combined class.
Up next, one of our biggest class of the day, of the year actually, our Ditchbanger 90 to 09 class. So big we have to split it up into 2 heats.
23 racers.
In this first one, 12 of our racers will be hitting the track. Heat race winner was the 719 of Justin Middlestadt out of Racine, Minnesota. We also have the 10 of Nate Clemens from Hastings, Minnesota, and Bloomer, Wisconsin, Scott Kempe on the 24. 44 of Zane Russell, 84 of Joshua Berg, 104 of Nathan Crawford, Andrew Morrissey on the 339, Drew Johnson on the 351, the 376 of Nicholas Raposa, the 423 of Mason Dolly, Brian Witham on the 580, and Jack Roggenkamp piloting the 901 are going to make up your 12 entries in this first heat of 2 for the Ditchbanger 90 to 09 class.
That's right. This is the first of 2 runs for the Ditchbanger 90 to 09 class. This will be the first group, main event number 1. You can see the engine steaming as they are getting itchy to give it the thumb, and they do as the green flag flies. 3 riders shootout to the line. Who's going to get the whole shot in turn number 1?
A whole slew of racers making their way into that first hole shot corner.
I think we were 5 wide deep in the field there into that first turn.
Lots of competition making their way through the send it squeeze. That's going to bring us single file throughout the front half of the field as we go from that 60 to 70 foot wide gap down to about 15 to 20 feet in the send it squeeze. That'll make us single file throughout the pack. As we make our way through the first turn, it looks like we have a yellow flag flying there. Some competitors slowing down in the send it squeeze. We're going to squeeze on by them.
Yikes, that was some tight quarters as the 901 of Jack Rogenkamp leads the field just outside the top 2. The 351 of Drew Johnson running third.
Rogenkamp setting the pace and leading the charge early on. About 5 sled lengths back, we have our second place competitor, and then a nice side-by-side battle for 3rd and 4th, raging on just behind.
Sleds all the way around the Steeplechase Ski Hill Racing Oval as that battle for position tightens up, headed towards the finish line to take the checkered flag. That will wrap up main event number 1 for race 8 with, I believe, unofficially the 901 of Jack Rogenkamp taking the W.
For the first half of 2 in the 90 to 09 class. Second half about to hit the track momentarily. After that, race 10, junior 10 to 13, junior 14 to 17, and junior open 18 and under, along with race 11, 600 open 18 plus modern, and race 12, Ditchbanger 03 to 16 should all be in the staging area. Race 13, 800 to 850 cc open 18 plus, and race 14, our WSAX classes should all be making their way to the staging area.
Second group in the Ditchbanger 90 to 09 class includes Jaeger Cordes, who picked up the heat race win on the 731, and Lucas Halicki from New Prague, Minnesota, who finished second in that heat race. Also out there, the number 3, Joshua Podine from Stewartville, Minnesota.
The 7 of Jory Cordes racing out of Zimmerman, Minnesota, alongside Orr, Minnesota's Shane Halverson on the 122.
William Marble from Merrill, Wisconsin's on the 126. Parker Helmbrecht from Howard Lake, Minnesota on the 217. Green flag is in the air. Second group of Ditchbanger 90 to 09 racers is away.
329 of Teddy Ballard.
Look out. We got a couple of hard hits down there in the first turn. 2 sleds involved there.
3 sleds as one goes up and over.
4 come to a stop. The 731 is one of them. Jaeger Cordes got into that first turn. Not sure if he got T-boned from the 726 or if that sled got sideways first, but there's a pretty neat thing to see the 726 of Lucas Halicki stopping to check on his fellow competitor, make sure that he's okay. Waving these racers around the incident where they've stacked them up on the inside of that first turn, but we have not gone red flag conditions. We're still green with just a local yellow in turn 1.
Looks like it's now the 425, I believe that is, out front. The 425 of Peyton Helmbrecht, able to make it through that disaster area in turn number 1 to hold on to the early race lead.
Still trying to get 3, is it 2 or 3 sleds stopped there inside of turn number 1, still trying to get them refired. But that battle for the lead rages on.
Court is still in 1 and 2. Holicky was sitting on the front straightaway, but I do see the white flag is out for the 425 of Peyton Helmbrecht.
It's a local yellow, so they race the rest of the track. White flag conditions now. Final trip around the Steeplechase Ski Hill Oval. And it looks like the 425 of Peyton Helmbrecht is flirting with a main event win here.
Now you see, this is exactly what we were talking about earlier on today. One thing that's cool about Sunday Funday is one race you can see a certain top 3, the next you can see a completely different, and that's the case as the checkered flag flies for the 425 of Peyton Helmbrecht, taking the tentative or the unofficial feature race win here for J&J Sports and Justice Brothers Products out of Howard Lake, Minnesota.
That was main event number 1 for main event number 1 for the second group of ditchbanger racers. We get ready for main event number 1, race 10, which is going to be made up of 3 separate classes. We'll have junior 10 to 13-year-olds, junior 14 to 17-year-olds, and junior open 18 and under.
In the junior 10 to 13 class, heat race winner was the 591 of Lyric Knighton out of Trago, Wisconsin, alongside the 052 of Levi Rostad from Zumbrota, Minnesota. 109 of Brentley Krusmark out of Pine Island, Minnesota, and Wyatt Stracy piloting Elko, Minnesota's 973 also make up that first class.
Julia Olson is racing in the junior 14 to 17-year class. Julia out of Montevideo, Minnesota on the 521. And in the junior open 18 and under, New Prague, Minnesota's Carter Bastier with a 252. Of those 6 entries, looks like we've got 5 of them in the Steeplechase start gate. So I think we're going to turn them loose here with 5 of 6 getting the green flag. The racers are facing a digital LED display. We are looking at the backside of it. But when that light turns green, that's when they can give it all the thumb they want and head towards the front straightaway. Oh, hold on. The 252 of Carter Bastier almost got huckabucked off that sled. Nice save going into turn 1.
Looks like it's the 591 of Lyric Knighton holding on to the early race lead out front.
This is the order they ran in the heat race earlier this evening, and Bastier on the 252 was not quite able to close the gap on the 591 of Lyric Knighton. Knighton, still your race leader, as again we end up with a local caution flying there.
973 of Wyatt Strazy holding on to third. That left-hand corner still proving to cause some issues with our racers. The 109 of Brentley Krusmark getting things refired on the outside of turn number 1.
The outside of the 7 squeeze, I think it was. Yeah, it was right there on top of the banking. I believe that's where he was sitting, but Brentley was able to get that sled refired, and he's back in the mix.
White flag is out. 1 more lap to go for our racers, and Lyric Knighton, just like we saw in the heat race, holding on strong to the lead. Just half a lap separate him from feature race glory. He's going to make his way through the West End high banks onto the front straightaway, and checkered flag is going to fly. Lyric Knighton taking the win for CNA Pro Skis Bigfoot Home Protection and Security Southside Concrete. The 252 of Carter Bastier going to finish second overall, taking the heat race or taking the feature race win in the junior open 18 and under class.
Race number 11, main event number 1 will be next on the track. This will be our 600 open 18 plus modern class. 7 racers in the class. We've only got 3 of them though in the start gate. We've got them headed towards the start line. Here we've got a 4th rolling into the gate, and we'll get the rest of them, I believe, up into the mix. But here's your starting lineup for main event number 1, race 11.
Heat race winner was the 109 of Aiden Leonard out of Lake City, Minnesota. Number 5 of Dylan Dorn came in second out of Zumbro Falls, Minnesota. And Dustin Dorn piloting the 29 from Elgin, Minnesota, followed behind.
Nathan Bowen from Little Falls, Minnesota is atop the 22. Josh Shad out of Plainville, Minnesota on the 31.
The 116 of Alex Burdick from Mazeppa, Minnesota, and Alexandria, Minnesota's Trevin Hopner racing the 505 are going to round out your field for race 11. Up next will be race number 12, Ditchbanger 03 to 16, race 13, 800 to 850 cc Open 18 plus, and race 14, our WSAX classes should all be in staging. Race 15, Ditchbanger Twins, race 16 plus 30 snowcross, and TSS 440 to 600 should be making their way up. As the green flag flies, we've got a 3-rider drag race to the front.
The 109 of Aiden Leonard trying to get the whole shot, but that sled pushes wide, so now he's feeling a challenge to the inside by the 29 of Dustin Dorn. Dorn's going to take the lead out of the squeeze.
The 5 of Dylan Dorn sitting right behind in third. Our top 3 the same as the heat race, but in a slightly different order.
29 is going to lead lap number 1, the 109 giving chase, and take a look at Leonard. Again, he's focused to that inside run. He's got to clear the rollers there. Is it going to work for him getting into the squeeze? No, it does not. The 29 of Dorn holds on to the lead.
Leonard in the middle of a Dorn sandwich there, as we've got Dustin Dorn out front, Dylan Dorn in third. Leonard looking to the outside, tucks it back down to the inside. We're side by side on the front straightaway.
Leonard again on the inside, but now he decides to take it a bit wider around turn number 1. Thinks that's going to work for him. He learned that the 29 was handling better out there. This is the 2-rider battle on the final lap for this main event as they come out of the back straightaway.
29 of Dustin Dorn holding on strong. He was able to pull away through the send-it squeeze. Leonard looking good in the corners, but Dustin's got it on the straights as the checkered flag flies for the 29 of Dustin Dorn, taking the win for Skidoo, Team CC, Woody's Traction, CNA Pro Skis, and Grip and Rip. The 109 of Leonard going to have to settle for second. The 5 of Dorn going to round out your top 3 for race 11.
A feisty battle at the front of the field there. Nice to watch them. It was a feisty battle, but it was a clean battle. No contact at all between the two. A great battle to watch. We get ready for main event number 1. Race 12, Ditchbanger, 03 to 16. Heat race winner was Mitchell Fruth from St. Stephen, Minnesota on the 393.
On the 393X, we had Cole Principali out of Elk River, Minnesota, alongside Stacy, Minnesota's Nathan Steele on the 424.
Rest of the field includes Jake Wybush from Lake City, Minnesota on the 828, and Bailey Strezzi from Elko with a 942. Light is green, and the sleds are away. The 393 will lead us down the Hail Mary Highway front straightaway and into the first turn.
Fruth doing just what he did during the heat race. Now in the main event, trying to make a move. Up front, leading the charge ahead of a 2-rider battle for second and third.
Boy, that battle for second and third was... to use a term again, feisty there as they were battling each other on the fall-away field portion of the track. There's your race leader out front trying to stretch the advantage over second.
Our rider in second place holding on strong, only about 3 sled lengths back from our leader. And even our third place racer trying to stay in that fight as well, drawn a little further back, maybe about 6-7 sled lengths behind, but out front it is all Fruth all night.
But I don't think Fruth can rest on his laurels because the second place sled is closing the gap, at least on the west end. Back into turn number 1, he drives it a bit deeper. The rollers are going to try and play spoiler one more time and slow that sled up.
White flag is out, 1 more lap to go for Fruth. Will he be able to hold on to that onto that feature race lead with 1 corner left to go?
Nose to tail into the high banks at the west end of the track. Drag race to the finish line. Checkered flag is out. Fruth will get the win in the Ditchbanger 03 to 16 class. Race number 13, main event number 1. Next in the gate, it is 800 850 cc Open 18 plus.
Heat race winner was the 850 of Rick Zebro out of Lino Lakes, Minnesota. Behind him, Logan Spletzler on the 916 from Henderson, Minnesota. And Zumbrota, Minnesota's Chad Sigurdsson racing the 111, finished third in the heat.
Ridge Owen from Bloomington, Minnesota will round out the 4-rider lineup on the number 7. 4 sleds, main event number 1 for our 800 to 850 cc 18 plus open class. Boy, the intensity is just amped up these last few races. Been fun to watch. These racers are watching the green light. Light is green, and away they go. Drag race to the line. And it'll be the Teal Machine out front, the 850 of Rick Zebro, your early race leader.
Nice little side-by-side battle for second and third going into that hole shot corner. The 111 of Sigurdsson on the outside. I believe that was the 916 of Spletzer on the inside. Spletzer going to hold on to second, but Sigurdsson giving it all he's got to see if he might be able to move up one step from his heat race.
That 19 of Spletzer was able to use the inside to his advantage through the squeeze. Oh, we've got one sled stalled right at the entry to the West End High Banks, and I believe that might be... Was it the 111 that stalled there?
Looks like it was the 111 of Sigurdsson stalling there at the high banks. 916 of Spletzler still holding on to the 850 of Zebro. Zebro, your race leader. Spletzer probably about 5-6 sled lengths behind in second, but still holding on close. We'll see if we might be able to see a battle evolve in the white flag lap. One more lap to go.
I think for a moment there, the 7 of Oyen, Ridge Oyen, was able to take over third. Not sure if Ridge was able to hold on to that third place spot, but our focus is on the top two as they are battling for the lead and the eventual win.
Through the Send It squeeze, only about a sled length separation from our top two racers. Up the Black Diamond drop into that West End High Bank left-hand corner. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Spletzer didn't have the corner he wanted, so Rick Zebro will take the feature race win for Speedworks Zebro Construction. 916 of Logan Spletzer gonna have to settle for a hard-fought second place finish.
Final two across the line to wrap up the 800 to 850 cc Open first main event. We get ready for race number 14's first main. WSA 440 improved, 600 improved, and open.
All racers for the features should be in the staging area now, but race 14, your lineup's going to look like this in the WSAX Open class. The heat race winner was the 731 of Jager Cordes out of Duluth, Minnesota. Behind him, the 1 of Tucker Kempe out of Bloomer, Wisconsin.
In the 600 improved class, Jack Rogenkamp on the 901 was the heat race winner. In the 440 improved class, Scott Kempe's on the 24, Joshua Berg on the 84.
The 126 of William Marble, Teddy Ballard on the 329, and the 726 of Lucas Hockey.
Oh, look out. My goodness, we've got carnage on the front straightaway. Coming up the climb to the Hail Mary Highway, no fewer than 4 sleds barrel rolling down the front straightaway. Not sure if this is going to be a red flag complete restart or not. Camera is...
Looks like we are going to red flag this. Make sure that our riders are all good to go on the front stretch. Didn't quite see what happened there, but boy, oh boy, did I see the aftermath. I saw quite a bit of parts thrown about the track, sleds every which way. So we're going to take a moment here to assess our racers, make sure everyone is okay after that hard get-off.
So where the racers stage... and not stage, but actually the start gate in the Steeplechase start gate, they're on a bit of a downhill-facing portion of the staging area. And it's a very short run down to that green light, and then they begin an uphill run to get onto the front straightaway. A couple of those sleds locked right at the beginning of the uphill portion, and they... I definitely saw 3 of them barrel rolling up that hill onto the front straightaway. May have been 4. I think we ended up with 5 of them mixed into it. But the best news is that we've got all of our racers up under their own power, trying to get those sleds refired. And all of them but one thus far have been able to pull away. We're taking a quick look. I believe that's the 84 of Joshua Berg there. Joshua's talking with the track workers. I'm not sure if they're going to get that sled refired or not. So it would appear that it's more than just cosmetic damage on the 84 machine.
726 of Holicky was also in the mix there. He was able to get things fired up, restarted, and ready to go. Now we're just checking on the 84 of Berg. They're trying to get it refired. There's a pull. There's a pull. Ooh, I see the lights coming alive a little bit.
Got it fired. Good job. Fist bump from the track workers. Going to head back to the start gate. Well, there's another point that we can mention at the riders' meeting. One thing that Joe is always talking about with the racers is to make sure not only that their sled is ready, not only that they are racing for fun and safely, but also that they are using an abundance of safety gear that is mandated for all of these racers. Obviously, you expect to see a racer with a helmet on, that's required, but there's a plethora of other safety gear that each rider is wearing, whether it's shin guards, gloves, neck braces, etc. And it looks like all of that safety gear did its work this evening. Here you're going to see those sleds get together, throw a couple of the riders off to the side. And those are not light machines that are rolling around and battering those racers. So again, so happy to see all of them get up under their own power. And I believe,
looks like 6 of our scheduled 8 are making it back to, or 7. Didn't see the guy behind there. 7 of our scheduled 8 making it to the restart here.
So I apologize, I missed which sled is not going to be on the restart, but the other 7 are in the gate. Looking for that green light. Light goes green and away they go. Another drag race out of the front straight.
By the early looks of it, Holicky is there. Thought it might be him not making the call. 731 of Cordis out front early, along with the 901 of Roggenkamp right behind in second. Rest of the field in tow through the send it squeeze. We even got a little side-by-side action. Looks like that is the...
Is that the 84 of Berg holding on?
It looks like that's the 1 of Kempe sitting in third right now.
So Tucker Kempe having a good run early in this main event.
Also, keep an eye on Holicky. He started in the back row, was a part of that.
We've got another rider off.
There we have Holicky going down. His sled following alongside him.
That's the 726 machine of Lucas Holicky. Kill switch did its job there, shut that machine down when Holicky.
He'd been actually moving his way up through the ranks after being a part of that wreck early on during that first start. Made his way about halfway through the field, just got a little upset there. White flag is out. One more lap to go for Jaeger Cordis.
Combined white and yellow on the front straightaway as Jorgis keeps its skis and track on the ground. Now he gets into the high bank turn. Here comes the 731 machine. Oh my goodness, he misread the flags.
Cordis was out front. That was Holicky who had gone down, getting a lap down.
Okay. For a moment there, I thought our leader had misread the flag. I apologize.
So Jaeger Cordis going to go with the feature race win. I believe it was the 901 of Roggenkamp sitting in second. Tucker Kempe going to round out your top 3 unofficially after a carnage-filled WSAX race number 14.
Wow, what a race. But again, safety equipment did its job, kept our racers safe. Ditchbanger Twins up next for their first main event.
Heat race winner was the 213 of Isaac Pavic out of Cottage Grove, Minnesota. Behind him, we had the 7 of Jory Cordis out of Zimmerman, Minnesota, and Princeton, Minnesota's Wesson Bishman on the 14.
Other competitors include Easton Bishman from Pritzman on the 42, Jason Helmbrecht from Howard Lake, Minnesota on the 217, David Olson out of Montevideo on the 521, and Brian Witham from St. Paul riding the 580.
746 of Hunter Wagner out of Zimmerman, Minnesota, going to round out your 8-entry field for race number 15. Up next, final feature race of this second round is going to be race 16 plus 30 snowcross. 4 competitors coming there as the green flag flies for Ditchbanger Twins.
Talking with Isaac Pavic during our break after the heat races. He said he was originally registered in the 440-600 Invitational class. He said, I didn't want to be the only racer in my class. I wanted to battle some competition. So he switched into the Ditchbanger Twins class. There is the 521 of David Olson holding on to the number 2 spot for now.
For an exact quote from the 213 of Pavic, he said, I didn't want to win all by myself in the TSS class. I want to win against 7 other people. He took the heat race win earlier on today. Let's see if he's going to be able to repeat it for the feature race.
There's your race leader coming up out of the squeeze through the lane split and heading onto the back straightaway. I believe that's the 746 of Hunter Wagner, I think, holding on to the race lead right now.
521 of David Olson right behind in second as the white flag flies. One more lap to go for Wagner. Wagner to the outside, Olson to the inside, side by side as we make our way down to the send it squeeze. Who's it going to be?
Olson tried that charge on the inside. He did make up a lot of ground, but he just couldn't quite get those skis to dig. Now he's get back up alongside the race leader into the West End High Bank turns. He drives it deep and takes the lead.
One final time onto the front straightaway. Checkered flag is going to fly for the 521 of David Olson, who's going to take the feature race win today. For Olson Plumbing and Heating of Montevideo, Mid-States Millwrights, Fast Threads, BuyRaceShirts.com, CNA Pro Skis, Woody's Traction, and Rock Speed Effects.
Nothing better than a last lap pass for the lead and the main event win. Our final first main event of the night is in the gate right now, plus 30 snowcross, 440 to 600 invitational. Obviously, Pavic moved into the other class, so we have 4 racers in the gate, including Dylan Dorn on the 5, Dustin Dorn on the 29.
The 393 of Mitchell Fruth, and your heat race winner, the 395 of Corey Heineme, making the call. All 4 of these racers. Dylan Dorn won 2 of the features the last time we were out here. Corey Heineme won 1 of the features as well. He won the heat race. We'll see who's going to be today's feature race winner. Early race leader is going to be Heineme on the inside, the 5 of Dorn on the outside. Whole shot is going to go to the 5 of Dorn.
Dorn out front, side-by-side battle for the lead. That 2-racer shootout for first and second rages on. Third and fourth right behind him, though, as they continue on lap number 1.
Dorn, Heineme, Dorn, Fruth, 1, 2, 3, 4. As we've got a side-by-side battle for third and fourth developing to figure out who that last step of the podium is going to be.
395 of Heineme, again, trying to make that inside run work. He's able to get up alongside of your race leader, Dorn on the 5. Can't quite seal the deal. Settles back in line right behind your race leader. The 5 machine of Dylan Dorn out front.
393 of Fruth has secured that third place position for now, but it's a 1v1 battle up front, a 1v1 battle in the rear. White flag is out, 1 more lap to go as Dorn goes to the outside. Heineme goes to the inside. Dorn still with the slight advantage.
Well, you can't fold Heineme. He just sees a huge opening to the inside of turn number 1. Figures, I gotta give it a try. He just hasn't quite been able to make it work. The number 5 machine of Dorn, still your race leader. Zach's gonna call him down to the checkered flag.
Drag race to the line, checkered flag flies, and it's the 5 of Dylan Dorn going to take the feature race win today. 395 of Corey Heineme going to settle for a second place. 393 of Fruth going to round out your top 3 for our final feature race of the first round of features.
Brief intermission here while we allow the racers and the track workers to prepare for our second main event. That's right, second main event. Those of you watching online, we run a heat race for all classes, a first main event for all classes, and then a second main event for all classes. So we have run through main event number 1 for all of our classes. A brief intermission here, and that will allow us to give the track the TLC that it needs before we get ready for main event number 2. Big shout out to those fine folks who have joined MBTV Sports and X Racing for Sunday Funday 2025-2026, including the fine folks at Bikeman Performance, Caliber, Speedworks, USI, Bodywise Chiropractic, Waldock Customs, Power Lodge, Chopper Power Sports, O'Mara Motorsports, Staging Pro, Playstead Companies Incorporated, Rugged Radios, Rocks Speed FX, Thomas Snow Sports, Fly Racing, Professional Mechanical Services, Olson Power and Equipment, Custodio Home Group, Quality Freight Rate, Olson Plumbing and Heating Incorporated. Also, big thank you to Woody's Traction, Podine's Power Equipment, Henko Utilities, Moto Pros, and Cannon Power Sports. And of course, we say thank you to our premier Sunday Funday supporters and sponsors, the Hunter Hewell Memorial Foundation, Steeplechase, DLO Excavating LLC, CNA Pro Skis, CF Moto, Husqvarna, Aeroplax Corporation, Ruck Excavating, Stud Boy Traction, and Fox Shops.
We're going to take about a 15-minute intermission here before we move into our final section of main events for the evening. In the meantime, we'll take a moment to hear a word from our sponsors.
Freight is the backbone of the country. And as long as people need goods, they're going to need somebody to get it to them. My name is Matt Bohl with QualityFreightRate.com, powered by T-Force Worldwide. We provide LTL, truckload, and expedited freight services across this country. If your freight weighs over 120 pounds going over 120 miles, that's where my shipping rates kick in. We help companies ship easier for less. With our system, our customers are able to quote and book shipments with ease 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you're having trouble with damages, lost freight, claims of any sort, we can help you with our experience, solve the problem, tell you why it's happening and what you should do to prevent it in the future. Me and my team have been together for over 20 years. We know this industry. We can help all size business, big or small. We love them all, but we have a special spot for small business. Small businesses are pillars in the community. Low rates are critical for a small business because the margins are generally pretty small. They need to have competitive rates. They can't be getting gouged or they lose the sale. Freight is simple. People make it difficult. We work as consultants in the industry, so it doesn't matter what your problem is, we'll solve it. We educate the customers, we solve problems, and we lower their shipping rates. And that's what I've been doing for 20 plus years.
At AmRamp Accessibility, our goal is to help people, and that means providing them with the best quality product and service possible. Built with powder-coated steel, our ramps are stronger and longer lasting than those built with wood or aluminum. Installed in a matter of days to ensure your safety as quickly as possible, our teams are here for you.
I can get out.
Yeah, much easier. Better, a lot better. Yes, thanks.
I don't even have the words to explain how much easier it is. We're just so thankful for it, so thank you. Thank you very much.
Find your forward with AmRamp Accessibility today. Learn more at amramp.com.
Yeah, Butler-Built has been a supporter of mine for a long time. I've always run Butler-Built seats ever I got into 410 sprint car racing, and I feel like they have the nicest aluminum seats out there. The craftsmanship, the welding on it is top notch, and now they're pouring my inserts and have the gravel cut seat and gives you a lot of clearance for your hybrid or your Hans, and I feel like there's no better seat out there. Yeah, I mean, a little bit of feedback, right? These guys do it every day, so as me as a sprint car driver specifically, every form of dirt racing, the seats are built different, and guys like us, drivers are wearing holes in their hybrids because they're rubbing on the seats, and felt like there was a need for a little bit of a new design and a new generation of the sprint car advantage seat. So yeah, it's been a fun ride and hope to continue the relationship for a long time. My name is John O'Connor. I'm a snowboarder for life and a business owner in Windham, New York. We run a restaurant and inn here. This is our backyard. Having a backyard park is really special because being able to snowboard at home and not have to get in the car, go to a resort, wait in the line, is your own creative space to do whatever you want, however you want. You're in your element. You're right at home, and it's a really good feeling when you can tune into the space around you with you and your friends and just make something special of it. The Tow Pro has helped my vision come to life with where I would like to take the backyard setup, and Without it, it wouldn't be the same. It's the most easy to use, compact, portable, reliable rope tow that you can buy. It's the best thing that I own as far as what gives me happiness in life. Without it, it's not the same when you're hiking. To be able to keep riding and feel like you're snowboarding, that's what it's all about. And the Tow Pro has made that happen.
Painful steps shouldn't be part of your daily routine. At Foot and Ankle Clinics, PA, we specialize in diagnosing and treating a wide range of foot and ankle conditions, from heel pain and bunions to diabetic foot care and sports injuries. Our board-certified podiatrists, Dr. Jeff Pellersells and Dr. Russell John Hill, bring decades of experience and a compassionate approach to every patient. At our clinic, we are dedicated to serving the community with the highest level of care. Your well-being is our top priority. Serving the communities of Woodbury, West St. Paul, and Edina, we're committed to providing personalized care tailored to your needs. Don't let foot or ankle pain hold you back. Visit footandankleclinics.com to schedule your appointment today.
My two passions in life is racing and selling good high-end meat. So my grandfather came here from Germany back in the late 20s. He decided to open his own shop in 1951. He had all the recipes, he had all the talent. His father was a meat guy. His father's father was a butcher. They weren't football players, basketball players. They were in the meat business. And that's our family. That's what we're good at. Old World Meats was derived from Frank's Meats. That was my grandfather's name. I know the quality of my beef is the best because I've purchased it directly from the ranchers that certified Angus beef. We know what our beef is continuously. It is very consistent. So we're located up here in Duluth on beautiful Lake Superior, just a stone throw off of Highway 61. I've lived here my whole life, and it's where I wanted to raise my family. To be successful, you need to have a talent. And I knew I was going to be in the meat business. I can taste spices, I can pick out flavors, where they need to come in, where they need to stop. So knowing your strengths are important and knowing where you came from. We have a hot snack stick that's got actually 8 different spices of heat in that, and it layers the flavors in the heat. That's what makes the difference with our product. The most exciting part was becoming coast to coast with the Old World Meats snack sticks. My neighbor stopped me on the street and said, "Paul, I was just down in Georgia and this gas station had your product." It was one of the highlights of the year. I don't know of a state at this point that we haven't had product in. Being in business in a small town really puts things into perspective. It's the little things for me to be appreciated and respected. So this whole operation here, it doesn't have to be the biggest, but it needs to have passion. And today, I'm changing lives of people that work with me. My guys are learning lifelong skills and values. That's the good stuff. Let's make the world a better place. Let's have a good time at it.
Ready to make a splash this summer? Grab your friends and head to River's Edge on the scenic Apple River. Whether you're looking to float the day away, camp under the stars, or catch live music and weekend events, River's Edge has everything you need for an unforgettable time. Book your tube, campsite, or party package now. River's Edge on the Apple River. Your summer starts here.